see dead people.
Yeah, well, it's like this. Oh, we got to go support the sister. We can get a black woman in the White. No, you're not getting one. Her daddy says his entire background is either Caucasian Irish or Caucasian Hindu. His Irish ancestors owned a bunch of slaves, and none of his ancestors were slaves. He has a grandmother who is a dark-skinned Hindu who was a house servant. So where does Kamala get her black ancestry since her mother is classified as a Caucasian Tamil Hindu Brahmin caste person? They're dark-skinned, but they're known anthropologically as Indo-Aryans, I-N-D-O hyphen.
Aye, mustard on the beat, ho, Debo, any rap nigga, he a free throw, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
So nice. Are you stressed for making Indian food?
Oh my God, you do have to taste just. Oh my, you have no idea. This is how my mother kept all of her stuff.
This is so funny. I told my dad I was like bringing over the stuff from the store. He's like, obviously I put them in Taster's Choice.
But this literally was how my mother kept all of this stuff.
That's so funny.
What is that?
Do they tell each
I
other?
don't know.
Taster's Choice.
Hi guys, it's Mindy. I'm here in my kitchen. And today we are cooking, but we have a very special guest. Very special. Senator Kamala Harris.
Hi guys.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck 'em up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
Wait, so here's what I want to know.
Okay.
Is it respectful to call, like I should be calling you Senator Harris, right?
No, you should not. That's not on my birth certificate.
Okay.
Call
Kamala?
me, yes, please.
Okay, because the Indian in me, I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, I won't call you auntie. They'll be like, how could you call her by her first name? She's worked so hard. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true.
They not like us. 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 You think the Bay gon' let you disrespect Pop, nigga?
They keep telling us this woman is going to be the first Black American female president. Not only is she not Black American, but she came from an immigrant mother from India, and her father, born in Jamaica, is Irish and Indian. They've been getting over on us since 2020, telling us this woman was Jamaican. And of course, when people hear that, they automatically believe that her father is Black. But no, her father is Indian and Irish. And he's very proud to be a descendant of an Irish slave master. There's a whole town named after this slave master in Jamaica. But they fool us because of her parents' skin color. They have brown skin, so we think they're Black, when neither one of them are.
I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop, nigga. They cold foul, I don't know why you still pretending. What is the owl? Bird niggas and bird bitches. Go.
But Aryans look exactly like Kamala Harris. They're swarthy, dark-haired, dark-eyed, and they're classified as Caucasian. So she's got a Caucasian mother, Caucasian dad. Where the hell does she come in being Black? And even if her great-grandmother was part Black, that's still not enough to make her black in America. She'd still be a typical white person.
Oh, the audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. Ain't there some be rest that's for bitching? You Malibu most wanted.
And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Biden turned and looked at her like, who? Well, Kamala said it was her, but Judge Brown is saying she went to school in Canada K through 12. As a child, after her parents broke up, she moved to Canada with her mother, graduated from high school there, then moved back to America until she went to college.
She was born in the same hospital in the same 12-month period my ex-wife was, and my ex, now late mother-in-law, was a paternity nurse in the same delivery room where she was born. So, yeah, she comes from that, but her mother was a Hindu, a visiting scholar, and her daddy was a visiting Hindu scholar, also professor. So how does she become from that background? She becomes a black woman.
Know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
She's a fake. She's been faking her whole damn life.
You know, love boy, you ball boy, fresh Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping. You niggas will get a wedgie, be flipped over your boxes, or over your foe. The other vaginal option, pussy.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
So we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people.
You want to see what the deal is? If you're white and black, do they call you white? No. They call you black, or that other N word. If you are Chinese and black, they don't call you Chinese, they call you black. But she's supposed to be Hindu and black, and what do they call her in her own community? Hindu. So yeah, she's lying. She went all through California being district attorney of San Francisco. Then she became attorney general for California. Asian, that's classified as Asian. Hindu, that's from India. Asian Hindu all through California. Now she's black. She went to Howard. Yes. She's an AKA. Yes. But that doesn't make her black. She grew up in Canada. Her yearbook that you can find online if you want to go spend the time looking it up, in which she published when she had some things going on in California, it says she went from kindergarten through 12th grade in Canada. She lied about being bused in elementary school because she never went to elementary school in San Francisco.
Nigga better straighten they posture. Got favors all up in contact. Might write this with a doctor. Tell a pop star quit hiding. Fuck a caption, won't action. No accident. I'm hands on. He fuck around, get polished.
If you're looking to get genealogy consultation, I highly recommend Mike. You know, he was very thorough, prompt, very knowledgeable. Even taught me some stuff about the background of Indian ancestry and heritage that I didn't know. The biggest piece of it is he taught me how to pull records and really dig into those records to make sure that I have things to match up to be able to take back for my citizenship. So I really appreciate everything he does, and I highly recommend Mike as your genealogist.
He was in jail, that's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home, y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central, nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena, that predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the park. Ay, put the road label on me, I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie, here's 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up, it's a must, we outside. Ay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me get some fists in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear. and we'll go ahead and get this party started. Now, I know that this is a contentious conversation, but goddamn it, Cat Williams was right. He said the year 2024, all things will be revealed. We had the situation with Drake, the Canadian with a little bit of Black American ancestry trying to grift and cosplay, and now we have a Canadian with Indian ancestry cosplaying as a Black American woman. I mean, these are strange times we live in. Strange times, to say the least. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Hit the like button on the way in. Share the video. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. Matter of fact, we already had a Cash App come through from Rita. Rita, thank you so much for putting something in the brown paper bag.
Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag.
Oh, yes. And guys, I am still providing the special promotion where you can get a genealogy consultation for only $50 if you book this week. It's interesting that no matter where you look, it looks like we're kind of nationwide having a conversation about heritage and genealogy. Am I right? Whether it's Drake, whether it's Kamala, whether we even go back to the Obama administration. I mean, we haven't ever had a Black president, let alone a Black vice president. We've had these foreigners cosplaying as us, just like the actors do in the movies, right? Come on, y'all. Come on. But go ahead and shoot me an email, mike@keymediapro.com, if you want to book a consultation. You know, as a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand how important it is tracing your lineage and going through the proper steps to stand on business, as they say, because there's a lot of folks out here that are playing games. There's a lot of frauds running amok. And let's go ahead and take a look at this Indian, not to be confused with the American Indians, of course. We're talking a red dot on the forehead, making the whole block smell like curry Indian. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. And before we get into it, I already see some people confused in the chat. So let's see if we can clear up some confusion, shall we? Tea Time says, she's not Black. She chose an all-Black college and sorority. What makes you Black? Because that looks like any other Black woman. I don't even see Indian when looking at her. Same as Nikki Haley. Okay, to your first point, Tea Time. Just because you go to a Black college and participate in a Black sorority, that does not mean you have native Black heritage. Matter of fact, that woman that she was with in the start of this intro, the woman she's cooking with right here, she's a actress, she's a comedian, that dark-skinned Indian right there, right from India, that dark-skinned Indian. Her name is Mindy Kaling, and Mindy Kaling's brother pretended to be Black American so he can get into medical school. Wait, I don't think y'all hear me, right? Let me get some fists in the chat if my audio is working properly. I said the same woman that the Indian Kamala Harris is rubbing shoulders with, that Indian woman that she's cooking in the kitchen with, her brother got into medical school by faking as if he had our heritage when they're Indians. Oh, Lord, these are some strange times indeed. Hey, but you know what? If you're new to the party, if you're new to my channel, I've got a nickname. You know, KOR, it stands for King of Receipts. So let me go ahead and show you some receipts, okay? I don't expect you to just take my word for it.
It's a brother versus sister feud, and it's getting nasty.
Oh, boy.
Actress Mindy Kaling, star of the Fox sitcom The Mindy Project, is reportedly denouncing her own brother for a new book he is writing.
She said that by publishing this book, I would bring shame on the family.
On The Mindy Project, the actress plays an OBGYN.
I heard that birth control makes you fat and cranky. So does pregnancy.
Now her brother says she's less than thrilled that he applied to medical school by claiming he was Black.
I did it because I was desperate to get into to medical school.
Damn, wait a minute. So when people like Tea Time make comments that, well, what do you mean she's not black? She went to an all-black college and sorority. I mean, here we have a whole ass Indian lying and saying he's a black American so he can better his career. So do you think that Kamala Harris going to an HBCU and being in a black sorority, being a part of the Black Boule class, do you think that was to better her career, since it has got her so far, right? Her main running ticket has been her cosplaying as a black person, right?
27-year-old VJ Chokal Ingram bears a striking resemblance to his celebrity sister, but he altered his appearance by shaving his head and then claiming on his medical school application that he was a black man. As part of the deception, he also used his middle name JoJo. Why?
There was statistical evidence that an African-American student with my grades and test scores was very likely to get admission to medical school, whereas an Indian-American applicant was unlikely to get in.
He says his plan worked. He was accepted to the St. Louis University School of Medicine in 1999.
Wow. So obviously we've got some evidence to support the notion that these Indians have no problem cosplaying Black American whenever they think it will get them some advancement, right? So when someone like Tea Time says, well, what makes you black? She looks black. I'm not sure if you're aware, but these Indians are darker than you and I. If we're just going to say that black is melanin or skin pigmentation, these Indians are over in India right now talking about they a black nigger.
I'm a black nigger. रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट है, हेडफोन में बीट बजे कागज में गीत लिखे black nigger. I'm a black nigger. रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट है, हेडफोन में बीट बजे कागज में गीत लिखे black nigger. I'm a black nigger. जिगरी जो यार है चाहे दो चार है, सब वफादार यहाँ फाड़ देते गाड़ है उंगली का.
Yeah, so y'all can miss me with that. Well, she looks a little bit brown, so she's Black American. No, these Indians cosplay like a motherfucker.
My name is Javaris Johnson. I work in the oil and gas industry as a truck driver. I recently just did a consultation for my genealogy with Mike at Key Media Pro. It was awesome. A lot of great information. A lot of stuff I'm going to have to go back and digest because it was so much information, man. And it really helped me to get on the path to enrolling with my tribe and learning everything, man. And it's just a great and awesome experience. You know, I encourage you guys, you know, if you're curious, to go out, do your family tree and connect with your ancestry.
The only thing that made us think she was a black woman was because we heard rumors that her daddy's from Jamaica. Guess what, guys? Just because you're Jamaican doesn't mean you're black. Guys, Jamaica is a nationality. It's not an ethnicity. There's Chinese Jamaicans, there's African Jamaicans, there's Irish Jamaicans, there's Indian Jamaicans. They all just colloquially call themselves Jamaicans. So when we hear her daddy's Jamaican, you know, since we're some ignorant Americans, we assume he's a black man. No, her daddy's a whole ass Indian and Irishman who's literally a descendant of slave drivers in Jamaica. You can't make this shit up, y'all. You cannot make this shit up.
Out and show niggas, certified boogeyman. I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs and party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Wait, so here's what I want to know.
Okay.
Is it respectful to call, like, I should be calling you Senator Harris, right?
No, you should not. That's not on my birth certificate.
Okay.
Call
Kamala?
yes, please.
Okay, because the Indian in me I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, I won't call you auntie. They'll be like, how could you call her by her first name? She's worked so hard. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are
Yes,
Indian.
yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know,
Peep game, y'all. Words matter. She didn't say, hey, I found out your mom's Indian. Hey, I found out you're part Indian. Hey, I found out you have some Indian heritage. Hey, no. She said, hey, I found out you're Indian. Guys, let's call a spade a spade. When they get around their own people, they show their ass. They get real comfortable when they get around their old people. But then when they come around us, they want to put on a good act. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear Kamala Harris saying she keeps hot sauce in her purse just like Hillary Clinton. I mean, the pandering is ridiculous. The pandering is sickening.
Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president. Yeah. So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true.
Come on, y'all. So when people make comments in my chat talking about, whoa, she looks black. I mean, that broad Mindy, whatever that broad Mindy's name is, she's blacker than me. She's blacker than me by far. She's heavily, richly melanated compared to me. But we know that black isn't just a color. It isn't just a phenotype. It's also a culture. It's also a legacy. It's also a heritage. It's all of the above. Just because you got some dark skin don't mean you like us. But let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. This is crazy.
You disrespect Pop, nigga.
They keep telling us this woman is going to be the first Black American female president. Not only is she not Black American, but she came from an immigrant mother from India, and her father, born in Jamaica, is Irish and Indian.
Hey guys, let's spot the black person. Where are they? We already know it's not Kamala on the left. We already know who we've never heard of a black woman named Kamala. I'm sorry. Hey, I don't know. I'm from the West Coast, maybe in the down south. There's a lot of sisters named Kamala. Kamala. I've never heard of a black woman named Kamala in my life. So let's exclude the left side of this image right here, but let's just focus on the right side. Which one of her parents is black, guys? Which one? And no, her father is Jamaican. You just don't understand. They go on a different racial caste system over there. Everybody just calls themselves Jamaican. They say one nation out of many. You got Chinese, Japanese, Indians over there, and they all say they're Jamaican. You got white people, you got Africans. They all speak the same patois, and they all say they're Jamaican. They don't distinguish themselves by race like that. So technically he is Jamaican. It's just we don't understand that being Jamaican doesn't mean you're black. Let's talk about it. So which one of her parents is black, y'all? We know it's not her mama. Come on, we know that even if her mama was as dark as the Mindy chick, the phenotype ain't phenotyping. No, her daddy, nah. Let's talk about it, guys. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
They keep telling us this woman is going to be the first Black American female president. Not only is she not Black American, but she came from an immigrant mother from India, and her father, born in Jamaica, is Irish and Indian. They've been getting over on us since 2020, telling us this woman was Jamaican. And of course, when people hear that, they automatically believe that her father is Black. But no, her father is Indian and Irish. And he's very proud to be a descendant of an Irish slave master.
Damn, not just you not black, but you a descendant of slave masters in Jamaica? Oh, this don't sit right with us, honey boo boo child. Not at all, not in the slightest. Oh, no. Oh, no, brother. No.
Her father is Indian and Irish, and he's very proud to be a descendant of an Irish slave master. There's a whole town named after this slave master in Jamaica. But they fool us because of her parents' skin color. They have brown skin, so we think they're black, when neither one of them are.
I think that Oakland show will be your last stop, nigga.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's see what Judge Joe Brown has to say about the situation, shall we? Hit the like button on the way in, share the video, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. And we are still doing genealogy consultations, so hit me up at mike@keymediapro.com if you'd like to take a deep dive into your family heritage, because after all, this is a national discussion about Black heritage. Whether we're talking about Drake, Kamala, Obama, or any of these tethers in between. Let's get to it.
About Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
She's a piece of shit. I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. I was out in California for 15 years doing my show when she was at her peak, and she had a reputation amongst the trial lawyers of being lazy. She just hike her skirt up and try to flirt, and she wasn't that good in the courtroom, if not pretty bad in the courtroom. So I'm not surprised at what she does. She's 60 years old, and I think listening to her word salad and the way she talks, I think she's got early onset dementia and also some problems with menopausal complications.
God damn. Well, tell us how you really feel, Judge Joe Brown. He says she's a hoe with dementia and menopause. He says she a forgetful hoe that's PMSing, y'all. He says she a forgetful hoe that's PMSing, and I'm just repeating the words of the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. Mike TV does not endorse hate speech of any kind against any protected group, including race, nationality, immigration status, gender, religious affiliation, political affiliation, insert here. But he said she is a forgetful PMSing hoe. All right, Judge Joe, this is a strong start, y'all. Let me go get some popcorn. I'll be back.
That's that. You see, today is going to be tomorrow. So since it's going to be tomorrow, today we have tomorrow, which is why we are now. Like, what did you say? They have something in mind, but they cannot cognate getting all the way through it, which is why she's famous for this word salad garbage, and she doesn't make a bit of sense. I think since she's only 60, she's actually on a worse track than Biden was. Biden is 20-some years older than her, and he has been senile for a long time. Now, about 5 or 6 years ago, when did they start ramping up to do this? 2019. Okay, I was saying Biden has been a failure his whole adult career, a second-rate, third-string player. He's in the game, so he wants to make a name for himself. I considered him for years poor urban trailer park trash. And he's a crook. He's a third stringer.
Damn, Judge Joe Brown coming out swinging, y'all. Coming out swinging. Mo Man says, how much Irish blood does Judge Joe Brown have in his veins? I wonder. Don't look too African to me. Well, first of all, us Native Black Americans aren't African by and large. So it's no surprise we don't look like Africans. I mean, I don't look like an African, do I? Just like Judge Joe Brown doesn't look like an African because we're not Africans. And just because we have lighter complexion does not mean that Judge Joe Brown has any Irish. In fact, he has indigenous heritage that he's very proud of and talks about openly. So you're looking at a Native Black American, not some African mixed with Irish. I mean, goddamn it, Mo Man. Tell us you're an African without telling us you're an African. Them Bush babies think the only way you can be a light skin is if you mix with a white man, y'all. Them Africans, I'm telling you, them Africans show they ass. We don't even got to ask them in the chat if they African. We know just by the type of comments they leave.
Now, what I said he was going to do is he probably wants to claim fame for being the first person to see to it that a woman got to be president. And what I predicted, I'm slightly wrong on it, was that he was going to get in, try to get elected, and if he got one term, try to get elected for a second one. And then halfway through his term, when he had served 2 years, to retire or resign in her favor. So under the 22nd Amendment, what happens is she can serve for the final 2 years for somebody and then be elected twice more. So that woman would be able to serve 10 years, second only to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who got elected to 4 terms before they put the amendment in place so you could.
Yeah, Gear Girl, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If these Africans in South America can say me no black poppy, then y'all better recognize us Native Black Americans ain't African.
Me no black papi. Me no black papi. Me no black papi. Reminder that Dominicans are not black. We are not black. And no matter how much black Americans cry about it, we are not black. We will never be black because I look black, but we are not black. And it's just a reminder to black Americans who are so pathetically forcing Dominicans to label themselves as black. We keep telling them we have our own culture. Me no black papi. They still force it on us.
Come on, y'all. This is the Twilight Zone. We got Africans in South America cosplaying as Spaniards. We got red dot on the forehead, Indians from Hindustan cosplaying as Black Americans.
लौंडियों को भाव नहीं सकती अपना स्वैग में भी आके कभी देख I'm a black nigger I'm a black nigger रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट है हेडफोन में बीट बजे कागज में गीत लिखे black nigger I'm a black nigger रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट.
Come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, y'all. Are we still allowed to talk about it? Is it okay for us? Is freedom of speech still a thing? I mean, are we allowed to talk about it? Listen, all I know is this. All I know is at the end of the day, the only thing them Indians are good for is one thing. They are only good for one singular thing. And you know what? God damn it, I got to put up my disclaimer. I don't want to get punished by YouTube. I do not endorse hate speech, but God damn it, them red dot on the head, Hindustan, Hindi as Indians, they seem to only be good for one thing, and that's for making some goop scoop. Put a 1 in the chat if you know how them Indians get down in the street, busting down some goop scoop, goop scoop.
When you come to goop scoop, cherry in them, Larry and them. Better hurry up, get some goop scoop, nigga. Yeah, goop scoop for the crew, nigga. Hurry up, get some motherfucking goop, nigga. Some goop scoop, nigga. Do you want some goop with your motherfucking scoop, nigga? Hurry up and scoop you some motherfucking goop, nigga. Yeah, go on here, goop scoop, nigga. You want some goop or do you want some scoop, nigga? Huh? Go on here, get some scoop, nigga. For your goop, nigga. In the coop, nigga. Yeah, go on here, get some goop, nigga. Scoop, nigga. Goop, nigga. Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Them Indians specialize in the goop scoop. They've got the goop scoop loaded up with a scoop for me and you. These motherfuckers is in the street, in the alleyway, whooping up some goop scoop. I'm telling y'all, I'm the king of receipts for a reason, y'all. I'm the king of receipts for a reason. I don't talk about it. I show y'all the evidence. I don't get up here and gossip. I show y'all the video.
It's a nigga in the struggle everywhere we eating goop scoop. Y'all niggas really want some goop scoop? In the hood, we eating fucking goop scoop. Every morning, get you a scoop of that goop. Get your motherfucking hand out my goddamn goop scoop. Another nigga hand was in my damn goop scoop. Mix it up. Mix that nigga hand up. We gonna slide it around, ride it around, bring it around. Goop scoop. Y'all niggas love the goop scoop. I'm gonna scoop. Me a bigger pack of goop scoop. and get me a little soup with my goop. Yeah, bitch. We gonna fold them up, eat them breads up. We don't want no heads up. Smack me some bread up, cheese on that motherfucker. With my goop scoop, I don't give a fuck about a brother. I want goop scoop in the morning.
Come on, y'all. Let's talk about it. Can we talk about it? Are we still allowed? Are we still permitted to talk about it? Come on, hit the like button on the way in, share the video, Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. Let's get back into the content.
Now, that said, I think, and my major at UCLA was political science. My analysis is they picked the weakest somebody they could as a figurehead, somebody who had some apparent minority status, which she does not. And what goes on is that you get her, everybody that is everybody would be afraid to go against her because of what she can pass herself off as. And then you get somebody that's easy to control because she's lazy, because she is becoming incoherent, and because she's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly, but you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And
God, yeah,
I say this, I don't care.
whoa. Foul him the place or foul him. God, this man was a judge. He was a judge. Lord, he is retired now. He can speak his mind. He said he got 1 foot in the grave. He gonna speak his mind if it's the last thing he do. He said, wait a minute. He said, I've been around the pips and the hoes. I know a hoe when I see one. And Kamala, oh Lord, Kamala be working the blade. Kamala be out there getting daddy money. I mean, oh Lord, he just said, I know a hoe. And Kamala fits the bill.
Women, you do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex, but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe. And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman. Get on up, you know. Or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree.
Hey, I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't know if Judge Joe Brown was just being literal or if that was an analogy. He says somebody unrolls Kamala naked at Putin's foot, and Putin says, no, you are old hoe. I don't wait. Guys, I don't know if he was giving an analogy or not. I don't know what's going on. Oh Lord, call me Dane Calloway, because I'm just here to make you think.
On what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say? You know, did you say anything? And I've never seen such a salacious mess as I've seen out of her. I think of One West Bank. I had some pretty good properties out in California at one point in time. And I know I had 3 neighbors who had good properties. It was in a place called Ojai, California. And they got caught up about 15, 16 years ago, like a lot of people did in that mortgage bundling scam stuff that was going on. And there was a bank called One West Bank responsible for it, which was owned by George Soros. The Mnuchin that you have out of the Obama administration was Mnuchin, who was the CEO of One West Bank. Well, there were approximately 1,200 counts of indictments returned against Mnuchin and One West Bank in various counties in California. Well, Mnuchin and Soros financed and arranged and sponsored Kamala to run for Attorney General of California. They got her elected. She got in, and using the authority she had, she promptly consolidated all 5,200 counts and dismissed them. And a couple of weeks later, Soros sold One West Bank for $4.2 billion. So after that, they got together and got her finance and got everything organized and made the connections for her, and she got elected to U.S. Senator. Willie Brown made the initial contacts and arrangements so she could get elected as.
Damn, he's spilling the beans. Hey, I don't know if we call this snitching or not. I don't know. I don't know if he's snitching or if he's just reciting history. You guys can take this how you want to take it. Judge Joe Brown knows it all, huh? He knows where the bodies are buried. He knows about the skeletons in the closet. He knows when you are sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. He knows when you're a real Black American, and he knows when you are a fake. See, that's a bar right there off the top of the dome. That's that Native Black American heritage right there. Kamala can't do that. Kamala's not us, y'all. We thought when we heard she had a Jamaican daddy, we thought for a second that she was a colleague. No, she's a fucking colonizer.
You're not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. It was God's plan to show y'all the liar. They not like us. 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 They not like us.
Come on, y'all. Let's talk about it. Shout out to Reaper Gang. He says these occultic hoes got to go. Not just these occultic hoes, but these occultic boule hoes. This is a special evolution of hoe. We got the foreign tether boule occultic hoe. This is a new breed, y'all. This is like the Last of Us, and we dealing with a new strain as a zombie, y'all. This is a new strain of the virus. We got a Teva, foreigner, Indian, old, raggedy, occultic, bourgeoisie boule of a hoe, guys. This is crazy. This is madness. Let's get into it. And you know what? I'm actually going to drop the StreamYard link. We're going to wrap up this stream here shortly, but if anybody wants to click the link and call in and provide some commentary, now is the time to do so. We're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. Ignore that link I just put in the chat. That was totally the wrong link. Here we go. Bam. If anybody wants to call in, now is the time to do so. But yeah, this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. This is a new form of oppression, guys. You know, us Native Black Americans, we always got overtaken because they would use an influx of immigrants. They would bolster their numbers by immigrants and have these immigrants do their bidding. And now we've got this weird thing where since COINTELPRO, since the civil rights movement, they know that there can never be a true Native Black American messiah. So they have to give us these pseudo leaders. They have to give us these pseudo leaders like Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson and Barack Obama and Kamala Harris, these people who are going to lull us into a state of perpetual stasis, who give us a good feel-good feeling of progress, but really we don't get shit done. We stay in the same place. We don't progress at all, but hey, these folks kind of have a black face, so they think it'll work. And I think for the first time ever, I think this election is going to show us it's not going to work. It's not going to work in the slightest. But let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. If anybody wants to call in before we wrap up the show, now is the last chance to do so. But post in the comment section what you guys think about this.
District attorney for San Francisco. She didn't do a very good job. She had a reputation for giving out the stiffest sentences in the United States of America for simple possession of marijuana in San Francisco, for God's sakes. But it was only to young black men. She's not a parent, never had any children, but she went off on this campaign to lock parents up, some of whom actually were shown to have dropped their children off at the school, but they played hooky, so she was putting them in jail. I know my in-laws, now late in-laws, because they're dead, and their fine daughter that I was married to, we were divorced. She got a whole lot of money, but anyway, out of me. What wound up happening was there was a liquor store they like to patronize on the way home, And it was a good liquor store, but it got held up a lot. So Kamala's solution was not go get the crooks, but close down the liquor store so nobody would be troubled by it. See, that kind of philosophy. Or you've got a serial killer who's got 6 victims, and the families are writing protest letters to her, not hurry up and do something, not why are you giving the guy such a light deal, is why don't you let this man plead guilty to life without parole instead of delaying it for 7 years, trying to make political hay out of it. I was caught up in a thing where this woman who was supposed to be a financial specialist wound up embezzling a lot, $1.5 million from me, about 15 million from some other black celebrities. And most of it was in the San Francisco area, not LA where I was. She consolidated the cases up there in San Francisco, took 5 years to resolve it, let her plead out not the $15 million of embezzlement, but $35,000. The sentence was 5 years in the penitentiary, 4.5 years suspended, 5 years probation. The woman wound up sitting on a bench outside Sybil Branch, which is the women's detention facility in LA County, for 5.5 hours. That's all the time she served, made no restitution. And la-di-da, I'm through with it now. I don't care on her behalf. Like, where's our money? You know, what did you do here? You didn't even consult with us. You did this on a surprise basis. That's $15 million gone. What happened? It's the kind of thing she would do, see. So it's like, that was not a good professional performance. And then she was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, you know, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black? Now, a little side story. When I had my show, let's say this has been 26 years ago, I had 2 beautiful women that I thought were sisters on the show. And they laughed one time when we all went to a happy hour and said, "You think we're black, don't you?" "Yeah, aren't you?" "No, we're Hindu." One of them said, "My mother's a Hindu Brahmin caste. My father was Hindu warrior caste. He took an oath to the family to protect her. They fell in love, eloped, and now we got a death warrant on us. We can't go back to India." So, yeah. And then they gave me 2 books. The guys were Hindu, and they were very dark, but they cut their hair off close, grew beards, and started dressing and acting black, and they got financial aid. One of them, I think, went through medical school that way, masquerading for being black. Somebody else did it, so she went to...
Come on, just like we was talking about Mindy's brother, right? Just like we was talking about Kamala's pal, Mindy's brother. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. We're going to wrap up this broadcast here shortly, but hit that like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. Share the video. And again, hit me up if you guys have ever wondered what the proper steps are to take a look into your family's genealogy. It's not as complex of a process as many people think. You don't have to go that far back into history. And as a native Black American and a proud member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. So help me help you discover your roots with a personalized genealogy consultation. DNA testing can't prove your ethnicity or tribal affiliation. I'm not sure if you guys know that. You know, you've got to search through paper records to dive deep into your family's heritage. And during the consultation, we're going to go through the genealogy process so you can navigate it with ease. I'll teach you how to trace tribal affiliation with your ancestors, and I'll show you the steps that me and my family went through to gain tribal citizenship. So take the first step in unlocking your past. To book a consultation, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com. And goddamn it, if I'm going to be frank, every single Black American needs to do their genealogy. We've been lied to. We've been labeled with misnomers. We've been reclassified for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years. Put a 1 in the chat if you didn't know that the original definition of an American from Webster's 1828 dictionary is an aboriginal or copper-colored race found here by the Europeans. Did you guys know that before the British ever came here, the first people to come here were the Spaniards? Spaniards are still technically from Europe, right? So the Spaniards were the first ones to come over here in the early 1500s, and they say very candidly they saw Black Indians when they came over here. On the East Coast, on the West Coast, down south in Mississippi, they say there was Black natives. They called us negros de terras, that means blacks of the land. These Spaniards didn't have to lie. They had no reason to lie. Here's an image of Indians playing a game at a California mission. Tell me that don't look like some niggas. We got light-skinned Indians. We got dark-skinned Black Indians. The Indian standing up with his hand in his pockets looking like a modern-day Black American, don't he? They playing a game with, or are they shooting craps or something? Let me know, guys. Are they shooting some craps? The homie got his hands in his pockets, posted up and everything. We been here. We ain't from no goddamn Africa. And the Spaniards spoke very publicly and openly about the Black natives of this land. And guess what? Since 1682, they were reclassifying Black Indians as Negroes and other slaves. Then fast forward to 1790. 1790 is when the first U.S. Census was created. So guess what, guys? If they're reclassifying Black Indians in 1682 as Negro and African slave and putting them on plantations, and then 100 years later, they create the first census, then you know that those records on the first census are fraudulent at best, right? And then we go to more modern time, and we got Walter Plecker in the early 1900s through the Racial Integrity Act, reclassifying people claiming Indian identity as colored. Guys, it gets deep. It gets real, real deep. Shit, we talking about Kamala Harris, somebody who's running for president. Let's talk about the governmental structure for a moment. Put a black fist in the chat if you had no idea that the U.S. system of democracy was stolen from indigenous tribes. Yes, Black Indians didn't just teach these fucking pilgrims how to survive in America. We didn't just teach them how to hunt and farm and the proper clothing to wear. We didn't just teach them all that, but we also taught these motherfuckers democracy. Guys, they come from Europe, right? They come from Britain, right? They don't have democracy in Britain. It's a feudal system. It's a monarchy. It's ruled by feudal bloodlines. We taught them democracy. And you guys know me as the king of receipts, so I can't just get up here and say some shit like that. I got to show you the evidence, right? Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look. It says here, whereas the confederation of the original 13 colonies into one republic was explicitly modeled upon the Iroquois Confederacy, as many of the democratic principles which were incorporated into the Constitution itself. Let's talk about it, y'all. They were 13 colonies, 13 separate little entities, and they became one republic for which it stands. Why? How? Because they saw how the Black Indians were organizing their government, and they said, this may work for our colonies. This was the Iroquois Confederacy. It had several tribes. They were each independent sovereign nations, but they came together, they galvanized, they collectivized to defend one another. They were a confederacy. We taught them this. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. Hey, matter of fact, let me take a quick detour. Let me take a quick detour, if I can, to really drive home how we civilize these savages. They want to call the Indians savages. No, those Europeans were the savages. Oh, Lord, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It says that the Cherokee chiefs were having dinner with Thomas Jefferson's father in Williamsburg. Come on. It says here, since the U.S. had trade and diplomatic relationships with native governments, thinking the constitutional framers weren't familiar with them is like saying, gosh, I didn't know the Germans and the French knew each other. Come on. It says the Iroquois Confederacy was in no way an exact model for the U.S. Constitution. However, it provided something that Locke and Montesquieu couldn't, a real-life example of some of the political concepts the framers were interested in adopting into the U.S. We gave these motherfuckers proof of concept that democracy could flourish. The Iroquois Confederacy dates back several centuries to when the great peacemaker founded it by unifying the 5 nations, the Mohawks, the Onondaga, the Cayuga, the Ononda, and the Seneca. In around 1722, the Tuscarora Nation joined the Iroquois, also known as the Haudenosaunee. Together, these 6 nations formed a multi-state government while maintaining their own individual governments. We taught these motherfuckers democracy. Come on. Come on. It says the fact that many of the framers looked to native governments for inspiration didn't stop them from viewing the native people as inferior. They're going to bite our swag. They're going to steal our program and still try to call us inferior. Go ahead and look it up, y'all. The history is attainable. The history is within our grasp. But before we close out, we do have a live caller coming from the back to the front is New Era. New Era, where you calling in from and what's on your mind?
What up, Bed Dog? I'm coming in from South Carolina. And I was just thinking I'd call in real quick to say I'm glad that you motherfucking doing this stream because it's funny as fuck. I was just having a conversation with my sister like 2 days ago about this chick not being black just because of color of skin. And it's funny how society had fucked up everybody to believe that just because you got dark skin and melanin that you're black. So I just want to call and ask you a question real quick. What do you think black is? And what would consider you black?
I think black is a misnomer that's been placed. And actually, there's a bit of an echo. I'm not sure if you got the video playing out loud or something. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Yeah, there's a little bit of an echo.
All right.
Let me just go ahead and place you on mute while I provide an answer, and then I'll unmute you. I think black is a misnomer that was placed on the Aboriginal people of America. I think we all know that black was something that was forced on us, just like the N-word with a hard R. And just like the N-word with a hard R,
your history and telling you what your history is and what it's not, and this and that. But it's refreshing to at least having a framework of what, your possible history is, especially like I say, growing up in being born in Worth County, that was used to be an Indian village. Indian post, and then learning that they for some reason in the 1800s, where people were removed. So I wouldn't know until I dig in deeper whether I'm, what side of them I'm on, through your consultation, where you kind of put some perspective to it. If it, like you said, if it was only 4% of Africans that was brought here to this land.
Own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be, could be.
You not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. It was God's plan to show y'all the liar. They not like us. 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 I see dead people.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like this. Oh, we got to go support the sister. We can get a black woman in the White. No, you're not getting one. Her daddy says his entire background is either Caucasian Irish or Caucasian Hindu. His Irish ancestors owned a bunch of slaves, and none of his ancestors were slaves. He has a grandmother who is a dark-skinned Hindu who was a house servant. So where does Kamala get her black ancestry, since her mother is classified as a Caucasian Tamil Hindu Brahmin caste person? They're dark-skinned, but they're known anthropologically as Indo-Aryans, I-N-D-O hyphen.
Aye, mustard on the beat, ho, Depot, any rap nigga, he a free throw, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
So nice. Are you stressed for making Indian food?
Oh my God, you do it at a taste just. Oh my, you have no idea. This is how my mother kept all of her stuff.
This is so funny. I told my dad, I was like bringing over the stuff from the store. He's like, obviously I put them in Taster's Choice.
But this literally was how my mother kept all of this stuff.
That's so funny.
What is that?
Do they tell each
I
other?
don't know.
Hi guys, it's Mindy. I'm here in my kitchen. And today we are cooking, but we have a very special guest. Very special. Senator Kamala Harris.
Hi guys.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Wait, so here's what I want to know.
Okay.
Is it respectful to call, like, I should be calling you Senator Harris, right?
No, you should not. That's not on my birth certificate.
Okay.
Call
Kamala?
Yes, please.
Okay, because the Indian in me, I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me
watch
au-
this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, I won't call you auntie. They'll be like, how could you call her by her first name? She's worked so hard. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true.
They not like us. 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 You think the Bay gon' let you disrespect Pop nigga?
They keep telling us this woman is going to be the first Black American female president. Not only is she not Black American, but she came from an immigrant mother from India, and her father, born in Jamaica, is Irish and Indian. They've been getting over on us since 2020, telling us this woman was Jamaican. And of course, when people hear that, they automatically believe that her father is black. But no, her father is Indian and Irish. And he's very proud to be a descendant of an Irish slave master. There's a whole town named after this slave master in Jamaica. But they fool us because of her parents' skin color. They have brown skin, so we think they're black, when neither one of them are.
I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop, nigga. They cold foul, I don't know why you still pretending. What is the owl? Bird niggas and bird bitches. Go.
But Aryans look exactly like Kamala Harris. They're swarthy, dark-haired, dark-eyed, and they're classified as Caucasian. So she's got a Caucasian mother, Caucasian dad. Where the hell does she come in being black? And even if her great-grandmother was part black, that's still not enough to make her black in America. She'd still be a typical white person.
Oh, the audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. Ain't there some B-rest that's for bitching? You Malibu most wanted.
And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Biden turned and looked at her like, who? Well, Kamala said it was her, but Judge Brown is saying she went to school in Canada K through 12. As a child, after her parents broke up, she moved to Canada with her mother, graduated.
I wonder if you know that I know he's lying right now. Oh, you got the new Margellas? That's what's up, that's what's up, I see you. That's your BMW? That's nice. That's your girl? Golly. Okay, I see you. But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying?
There, didn't move back to America until she went to college.
She was born in the same hospital in the same 12-month period my ex-wife was, and my ex, now late mother-in-law, was a paternity nurse in the same delivery room where she was born. So yeah, she comes from that, but her mother was a Hindu, a visiting scholar, and her daddy was a visiting Hindu scholar, also professor. So how does she become from that background? She becomes a black woman. She's not. She's a fake. She's been faking her whole damn life.
You know, love boy, you ball boy, fresh Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping. You niggas will get a wedgie, be flipped over your boxes, or over your foe. The other vaginal option, pussy.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
So we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people.
You want to see what the deal is? If you're white and black, do they call you white? No. They call you black, or that other N-word. If you are Chinese and black, they don't call you Chinese, they call you black. But she's supposed to be
World of ambiance with scented candles. Before I start my live streams, I set the perfect mood by lighting a couple of these beauties. Crafted with precision using a formula passed down from a foundational black American woman to her partner, each candle is a masterpiece, blending essential oils and natural fragrances seamlessly. I frequent this brother's eBay store not just for his candles, but also for his range of quality products. Support a black-owned business and elevate your space with handmade scented candles delivered straight to your door. Click the link in the description and embrace the power of ambiance.
and black. And what do they call her in her own community? Hindu. So yeah, she's lying. She went all through California being district attorney of San Francisco. Then she became attorney general for California. Asian, that's classified as Asian. Hindu, that's from India. Asian Hindu all through California. Now she's black. She went to Howard. Yes. She's an AKA. Yes. But that doesn't make her black. She grew up in Canada. Her yearbook that you can find online if you want to go spend the time looking it up, in which she published when she had some things going on in California. It says she went from kindergarten through 12th grade in Canada. She lied about being bused in elementary school because she never went to elementary school in San Francisco.
Nigga better straighten they posture. Got famous all up in content. Might write this with a doctor. Tell a pop star quit hiding. Fuck a caption, won't action. No accident. I'm hands on. He fuck around, get polished. Fucked on Wayne Grow. He was in jail. That's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home. Y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central. Nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena. That predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the park. Ay, put the roll label on me, I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie, here 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up, it's a must, we outside. Ay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me get some fists and feathers in the chat if you can hear me loud, crisp, and clear. And we'll go ahead and get this party started. Hit the like button on the way in, share the video, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. And I am still providing personalized genealogy consultations for the low rate of $50. This special is good until the end of the week. And I think that you should all take advantage of it because, God damn it, we are involved in a national discussion about ethnicity and heritage. We've got these tethers amongst us cosplaying as Black Americans when it's convenient, when it can advance a political career. But by and large, for decades now, the heaviest, most melanated, quote unquote, Black foreigners have been saying for the longest that they're no Black papi.
Me no Black papi. Me no Black papi. Me no Black papi.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when I do these consultations and we dive deep into people's heritage, what we find that we know African papi. Come on, y'all, come on. Most of us are indigenous to these lands. Only 4% of the slaves actually came to North America. Most of them went to the Caribbean and to Brazil, South America. And God damn it, guess what? Kamala ain't even a descendant of a Jamaican tether. Like it's not even like her daddy is an African Jamaican, and you know, at least she still has some African heritage, but still hashtag they not like us. I mean, that's not Black American, that's not foundational, that's not native to this soil, right? But God damn it, she don't even have that. When we heard her daddy was Jamaican, we just thought immediately that her daddy was like a melanated African Jamaican. When we think about Jamaicans, we think about quote unquote Black folks. No, Jamaican is a nationality, not a ethnicity. There's Japanese Jamaicans, European Jamaicans, Indian Jamaicans, Chinese Jamaicans. Just because you Jamaican don't mean you quote unquote Black. And when we talk about Kamala's background, I mean, she's been very open and honest and proud and bashful about how she's Indian, not Black and Indian, not mixed, not biracial, no, full on Indian. But now that the Democrats want to take out Trump, you know, they got to say, how can we pander to the Blacks? I mean, in our desperate time of need, we got Barack Hussein Obama to pacify the Blacks. Now I think we can go get Kamala. Yeah, we can go get Indian girl Kamala, and she can pretend to be a Black woman so we can get the Blacks to vote Democrat. Let's talk about it, y'all. Are we still allowed to talk about it? She didn't even grow up in America, y'all. She grew up in fucking Canada on some Drake type shit. She didn't come back to the States until it was time to go to an HBCU and start cosplaying as a sister. Damn it, these foreigners. God damn it, these tethers. They want to go to the HBCUs when convenient. They want to be Black when it's going to give them political advancement. And they think we can't see through it for some strange reason. I'm not exactly sure, but guys, as a native Black American and a proud member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. So help me help you discover your roots with a personalized genealogy consultation. Paper trail genealogy matters. DNA tests can't tell you what tribe you come from. It can't tell you ethnicity. It can only tell you who your daddy or your mama is, right? You must search through paper records to dive deep into your family heritage. And during the consultation, I'm going to teach you the 3-step process. Step 1 is navigating the genealogy process. Step 2 is linking tribal affiliation with your ancestors. And step 3 is navigating the citizenship application process, if that's something that you are interested in. So take the first step to unlocking your past. To book a consultation, send me an email at mike@keymediapro.com. But let's see what Donald Trump has to say about Kamala.
Own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
of
I'm
that.
asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be.
Damn, we got to unpack that. We have to rewind. We have to unpack those statements. Let's go ahead and take a deeper look, shall we?
Asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So.
He says, I think I can say maybe it's a little bit different. And then he goes on to explain how she's never identified as Black or African American or Black American. No, she always identified proudly as Indian. And now all of a sudden, when it's convenient, she's a Black woman. Look at Kamala. She's a Black woman with a whole ass Indian name, Kamala. Y'all, guys, you know me as the king of receipts, right? I mean, there's a lot of new viewers here, a lot of folks that are not privy to my content, but I have a nickname, and my nickname is the king of receipts. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive into not only Kamala's heritage, but also a bit of etymology, if you will. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are familiar with the study of etymology. You know, words matter. Words have meaning. Words have value. Words have context. Words are also important. And oh Lord, when we get into things as deep and microscopic as the etymology of her name, oh guys, we've got these tethers cosplaying like a motherfucker, y'all. These tethers is cosplaying like a motherfucker. Let's talk about it, y'all. Kamala. I thought to myself, I've never heard of a Black American woman named Kamala before. Kamala. Interesting. Well, the reason why I've never heard of a Black American woman named Kamala before is because it's not a Black American name. It's not a foundational Black American name. It's not a native Black American name. No, it's a foreign ethnic name. Yeah, just like we thought. And her name isn't pronounced Kamala. We butcher it. We call it her Kamala. No, it's Kamala. 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 I'm a real Black nigger. And my name is Kamala. I mean, guys, this is interesting. This is per
perplexing to say the least. I mean, she has a whole ass Indian mama, a whole ass Indian and Irish daddy, a whole ass Indian name, but when it's time to run for president, she's a black nigger. She's a black nigger.
लौंडियों को भाव नहीं सकती अपना स्वैग में भी आके कभी देख I'm a black nigger I'm a black nigger रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट है हेडफोन में बीट बजे कागज में गीत लिखे black nigger I'm a black nigger रांची के स्ट्रीट से हाथों में बीट है हेडफोन में बीट बजे कागज में गीत लिखे black nigger I'm a black nigger.
Yeah, just because you got melanin don't mean you're quote unquote black. You sure as hell ain't a black American, but Kamala is getting away with cosplaying for oh so long. I mean, let's play spot the black person. Which one is it? Is it her mama or is it her daddy? Oh damn, that's a trick question. It's C, none of the above. Oh wait, guys, let's play again. Another round. Which one looks like a foundational Black American? Which one has native Black American phenotype? The daddy has a whole ass tether hairline. The daddy has a whole ass tether forehead and hairline package. And goddamn it, Kamala does too. Kamala as a baby with the short hair. We can see the tether forehead. We can see the tether hairline. Good Lord. I've never hyper focused on her forehead and hairline and lack of laid down baby hairs until now, guys. This is crazy. Hiding in plain sight. It's been right before our eyes all along, and we just had no idea. We had absolutely no idea. Let's finish unpacking Trump's statements, shall we?
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly. But
I've known her a long time indirectly. You know, he's been in the game. She's been in the game. They both influential political business figures. You feel me? He's known of her.
Much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't.
As vice.
Damn, he said until a couple years ago when she wanted to turn black. Personalized one-on-one genealogy consultations for $75, but understanding that times are tough, from hurricanes to rising prices, I wanted to find a way to help further. In honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, I'm offering a special opportunity this week, a group consultation for just $35 for those who may not be able to book a one-on-one consultation. You'll still receive the same valuable information as in a private meeting. The only difference is that you'll be learning and asking questions in a group setting with fellow participants on a virtual call. To schedule a $35 group consultation, please email mike@keymediapro.com and include group consultation in the subject line. Looking forward to connecting with you.
What is the lesson? What is this telling us?
Well, there are several things that are significant about it. Of course, one of them is the way that colonialism tries to develop all kinds of elaborate classification terms for different kinds of people. But that's another subject. The most significant thing here is to reveal the much greater amounts of Native American ancestry that are present within the African American population than most people realize, because they might have been misled by the use of terms like mulatto and also people of color. Colored people included Native Americans, for example, in the United States area.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them, and this shit get way deeper than your pigment.
And now she's black because she's turned black. Hey guys, two wings, same bird. This is all charade. This is all political theater. This is all bullshit to keep us invested in the political structure, to keep us invested in the political process. But if somebody's saying something that's factual, I have to acknowledge it. I mean, if somebody, whether I like them or not, whether I believe in their values or not, if they say, hey, the sky's blue, then I have to acknowledge, oh, you're right, the sky's blue. So when he says, hey, all of a sudden she turned black, that's a very factual statement. Matter of fact, Judge Joe Brown says he knew her daddy, and even her daddy never identified as black.
Was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, you know, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation.
So again, we assumed because we heard her daddy was Jamaican, we assumed he was a melanated man, he was a black man, he was an African man. No, none of the above. None of the above. Irish and Indian, like red dot on the forehead Indian, not American Indian, not Aboriginal, not indigenous to Americas. We're talking Hindustan. We're talking, God damn it. Should I be petty? Guys, put a 1 in the chat if I should be petty. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a little bit petty. Sometimes I get the itch. Sometimes I get the bug. Sometimes I feel like being a little bit petty. Guys, put a 1 in the chat if you think I should be a bit petty today. Let me know. Give me your feedback. If you guys think it's not warranted, if you guys say, nah, Mike, let's just keep it on the up and up. Let's just keep it highbrow, high level. Let's not be petty today. Then I'll give my audience what they want. But God damn it, if y'all want me to be petty, then we got to be just a little bit petty. Just a little bit. I don't know, y'all. I'm feeling a bit petty today. And I see a lot of 1s in the chat, so I think the audience wants to get a little bit petty. So let's do it, y'all. She has absolutely no Native Black American heritage. Her mama is a hum-diddy-dum-dum. Thank you, come again, 7-Eleven gas station attendant. Her daddy is the same, mixed with Irish slave master blood. God damn it. She comes from the descendants of, Lord, y'all said I can be petty, so excuse me while I'll be a little bit petty, guys. You know, as Native Black Americans, we're also known as the Southeastern woodland mound builders. I mean, we built pyramids in America, pyramids that are older than the pyramids in Egypt. I mean, we're known for such a rich culture, for such a rich heritage, and her culture is known for streets filled with poop. And for sitting in those streets, whipping up the goop scoop.
Jerry and them, Larry and them. Better hurry up, get some goop scoop, nigga. Yeah, goop scoop for the crew, nigga. Hurry up, get some motherfucking goop, nigga. Some goop scoop, nigga. Do you want some goop with your motherfucking scoop, nigga? Hurry up and scoop you some motherfucking goop, nigga. Yeah, go on here, goop scoop, nigga. You want some goop or do you want some scoop, nigga? Huh? Go on here, get some scoop, nigga. For your goop, nigga. In the coop, nigga. Yeah, go on here, get some goop, nigga. Scoop, nigga. Goop, nigga. Yeah. When you come to goop scoop shit.
Yeah, they're not like us is an understatement, guys. That's a dramatic, egregious understatement. Lord, they specialize in the shitty streets filled with poop. And for going raw, barehanded, whipping up the goop scoop.
Roll to the struggle. Ooh, they don't use no utensils. Gotta put a whole kilo.
Let's go.
Fucking eggs in it, your arm in it. That nigga put some cane in it, that stain in it. God damn, he put some bread all in his head. I swear to God, he making bread. He making bread. That boy put his whole arm in my bread. Arm in my bread. The nigga put his arm in my bread. My bread, yeah. Nigga put his hand in it. Damn, they done put his whole hand in it. Damn, another kilo of that spam cocaine jam. I don't want to hear nothing out of thank you, ma'am. Them niggas putting their hand in my bread. They putting their whole arm in my bread. I swear to God, I don't want none. care. I
Come
might
on.
want to taste a little bit of arm bread. I just want to know why you won't use a fork or a knife, a spoon to do you fucking right. Spoon to do you fucking right. It's arm in my bread, arm in my bread. I swear that.
Damn, y'all, not the arm in the bread. Sometimes they put the leg in the bread, y'all. The feet in the bread. Y'all don't understand, guys. I'm not being petty. Okay, I am being petty, and you guys told me I can't. While I am being petty, my TV, as always, does not endorse hate speech or promote, hate speech of any kind against any protected class of citizen. These are all good natured jokes at the end of the day. But if we're just going to talk about heritage, we have a rich one that's mocked and mimicked and exported globally. Nobody's trying to be an Indian. No one's trying to be a Bollywood red dot on the forehead. No. Nobody is mimicking Indian culture, but they're mimicking ours. I wonder why.
Goop scoop playing that nigga got goop scoop on his hand. That goop scoop bucket got goop scoop. Fuck it, he gon' mix that goop scoop straight in that bucket. Bitch, you want some goop? Come and stand with your motherfucking crew. You want goop after goop after goop after goop. Better wait real quick. I got goop on my shoe, bitch. I'm gonna mix that goop. Grab that goop. I'ma do it for you. Got goop after goop after goop after goop. We gon' mix that goop right in front of you, bitch. That mixing up goop, motherfucking goop chips, bitch. Watch this, throw some sand in that bitch off the goop trick. Yeah, bitch, you gon' eat you some goop shit. I don't give a fuck, you gon' eat up this goop, bitch, you gon', yeah. Grab you some goop with a goop spoon on it. Coming through that bitch, got the goop spoon, don't you? I don't give a fuck, you want some goop, don't want you? Wiping off my hand with the goop band.
And guys, you told me I can be petty, so I'm gonna be petty. I asked you permission beforehand. This was premeditated. I said, guys, can I be petty? And you guys said you wanted to see that. You guys said that it was okay, that this was a safe place where we could all participate in an exercise of pettiness. So guys, let's talk about an interesting fact. It's not just that they're in the poop shoot whipping goop scoop with the arm in the bread, right? But everything they do seems to be just strange, just odd, just peculiar, to say the least. Hey guys, check this out. Before I even play the next video, I'm just gonna show you the thumbnail, right? I'm just gonna show you a still frame of the video, and you tell me if this don't look like it's about to be some weird shit. Let's play the guessing game. Put in the chat what you think is about to happen. Guys, we're just going to play the guessing game. Just look at the intense look in his eyes, the eyes popping out. The man is gripping another man's head that is very oily and wet on the bottom. What do you guys think is about to happen? Because I know some of those Indians can be quite zesty. And on the one hand, this kind of looks like some Fleece Johnson booty warrior. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. It's up to you. On the one hand, this looks like some swallowing may about to take place. I mean, I'm just not sure. This is just a very odd scene.
Would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelmed? Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you ever been swallowed? I would have been. Have you ever been swallowed up? 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 I would.
Yeah, no, believe it or not, there was only one person who guessed correctly. Guys, you would have never guessed it, but this is a massage. Yeah, guys, if you want to go to India to get some food, you know you're gonna get some goop scoop with the poop and the goop scoop. And if you go in to get a massage, you may get beaten and traumatized. Yeah, you may have been guessing like a motherfucker, but you were correct. This is how they give massages, y'all. This looks traumatic. I feel like someone's gonna walk away with a brain injury. I mean, this is wild, and this is not actually as wild as it gets. The Indians are an interesting lot. Sometimes they give out these quote unquote massages on the street. And guys, I don't know. India, they got colonized by the Europeans and shit. I think Indians view this as reparations, y'all. Peep this. I think Indians view this as reparations. When the white man visits India and says, "Hey, yeah, I want a haircut, I want a massage," the Indians treat this as an opportunity to beat the shit out of him. That man, you colonized my ancestor, Habibi. Wait, no, that's Middle Eastern. I'm sorry. I've never really had a fake an Indian accent. You see, we don't give a damn about your culture to want to cosplay you, but y'all care about us. God damn it. Let me cue the black nigger. I'm a black nigger.
जिगरी जो यार है चाहे तो चार है सब वफादार यहाँ फाड़ देते गाड़ है उंगली करे कोई हमें उंगली उनकी तोड़ दे दूर रहता उनसे जो लोग मतलब में मुंह मोड़ दे भाई पगला गया गाना मेरा सुन वो भी बोले मेरा भाई I'm a black nigger I'm a black nigger.
What did he just say, y'all? I feel like he said, "I'm a cosplaying tether, I'm going to lie, but I'm a black nigger." I don't know. A lot of it was hard to comprehend, but yeah, I think these Indians use these street head massages as a way to just enact vengeance for their ancestors. All right, look, either this is a euphoric, zesty ass facial expression, or this man is being abused and this is a call for help. Look at the expression of the Indian man. He's like, yes, I make you motherfuckers pay me to whoop your ass. I have a good racket. He's like, you white folks pay me money to beat on your head like a drum. Okay.
Man, in America, this man would be charged on 3 counts. He just pulled my hair and beat the crap out of me. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know, my guy. You look like you're enjoying it a little too much. He got the pink towel on this one too. he put the pink towel on this one. He knew who he had on the hook. I know he is not spraying this man's head with this bottle of 7-Up. He got a spray nozzle on a bottle of 7-Up, y'all. This is revenge for the ancestors, y'all. This is revenge. Guys, if you can't beat them, join them. We should actually adopt this form of vengeance from the Indians. We are learning something here today. We should start offering haircuts to white Americans. You know, a lot of them are starting to try to adopt our barbershop haircut styles anyway. So we'll just open up black barbers for white men, and we gonna beat your ass. Proverbially speaking, okay. Proverbially speaking, hypothetically speaking, I do not endorse hate speech of any kind, but I think we should take a page out of the Indians and just get that white man in the barber chair and just go ham. As long as he's sitting in the chair, it's legal.
Wow.
Yeah, they in the background laughing at him like, you really let this homeless crackhead dude like rub on your head for money? You know he's not a barber, right?
Oh holy crap, this is the best head massage I've ever had.
Okay, man. Pause. No Diddy insert here. This is getting too intimate for me. This is too intimate. You know, he's rubbing on his temple while his pineal gland rests on the back of his cranium so that he can radiate his spinal chakral energy into his aura. I mean, this just guys, I do not endorse hate speech of any kind, but there was a Freeman that did.
Nigga, you gay. You gay. Y'all niggas are gay. That's gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. You gay. Y'all niggas are gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. You gay. Y'all niggas are gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay. Nigga, you gay.
I didn't say it. Riley did.
Oh, not even this crow can annoy me with this massage.
Hey, to keep it a buck, it's not that difficult to appease a white man. I mean, he's in the gutter slums streets of India with crows in the background, the smell of poop, goop scoop getting whipped up right behind him, guys. Look right behind him. That's where the goop scoop is going down. Right back in here is all goop scoop territory. And Mans is just like, yeah, this is the best massage. Dude, I really like connected socially with the Hindus of Hindustan, dude. I don't know if I'm gonna like straight up start worshiping Shiva, dude, but like fuck, I really rock with them, bro. It was just such a riveting experience to like take in the culture of like goop scoop poop, physical violence and poverty like all around me, dude. Like it was fucking sensational, bro. It was like I was sitting in the oppression that my forefathers caused through colonization, and I was sitting in like in what my ancestors did, and I was just like having this man massage my head, dude, and it was just like fucking rad, bro.
Kind of digging your nails into you, kind of scratching you a little bit ticklish, a little bit euphoric.
The white man says it's a little bit ticklish, a little bit euphoric. Huh? Yeah, man said it's a little bit ticklish and a little bit euphoric.
Nigga, you gay. You gay. Y'all niggas are gay. That's gay.
Yeah, he said it was a little bit ticklish and it was a bit euphoric. All right. Can we say a prayer, guys? Can we bow our heads? Look to your neighbor, say, get off your smartphone for a moment, bow your head. Come on. Let's just bow our heads and say a prayer, you know. We don't want no devils in the house.
Yes, God. Praise the Lord. Yes, God. Yes. Jesus, praise the Lord. Yes, God. Hallelujah, God. Yes. We don't want no devils in the house, God. Yes, we Lord. Want the Lord. Yes, Jesus. Yes, God. Everybody pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen. And goddamn it, we getting distracted with the rich heritage and culture or lack thereof of the natives of Hindustan. We forgot to finish unpacking Trump's statements on Kamala. Let's get back to it.
A little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage. And she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know.
Now she wants to be known as black. All of a sudden she turned black. Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Is she Indian or is she black?
She is always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
She is always identified as a black woman. Bitch, why you up here lying? I mean, with all due respect, you know, that the black woman is God and Nubian queens and all that gods of the earth shit. But goddamn it, not all women is bitches and not all bitches women. Bitch, why you lying? Talking about Kamala has always identified as black. Where? When? Okay. Let's start lying, shall we? Let's start lying.
Either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't because she was in.
Ooh, he says he respects either one. He's saying he respects Black American identity or Indian identity, but she clearly doesn't because she always identified as purely Indian. That's a bar right there. That's a bar. She clearly doesn't respect both heritages. Oh, well, you know why she doesn't respect both? Because she doesn't have both. She doesn't respect any of her Black American heritage because it doesn't fucking exist. Guys, they've been pulling the wool over our eyes for decades now. Can I get a witness? They wanted to pacify us, so they gave us the first Black president, Barack Hussein Obama, father Kenyan, mother white American. They want to pacify us again. So now they give us a full-on Indian Irish descendant of slave masters, Kamala. Guys, you know we've never had a true Black president or a true Black vice president. We're being usurped. This is the new COINTELPRO 2.0. About slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation. More Messiah. So you know what they did? They said, well, you know what, these foreigners, they have adopted our values of white supremacy, and these foreigners will do anything to be an American. So what we'll do, since these foreigners are a little bit brown, we're going to put these foreigners in positions of power and give them governance over the blacks. Insert Obama, insert Kamala, insert the NAACP promoting Rachel Dolezal-esque figures. Guys, this is a psyops. This is a sick, sick psyops. Come on, guys, if you're new to the broadcast, like the video, share the video, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. You know they still got your boys shadow banned and demonetized. The only way I keep the lights on is by you guys hitting the Cash App or the PayPal or booking a genealogy consultation if that's something you're interested in. So go ahead and support the content if you want to see it. Keep on keeping on. But guys, this is a strange dynamic. Usurped by foreigners. This is the story of how the Native Americans have been overtaken for centuries now. They import immigrants, they import immigrants, they import immigrants, and now we're outnumbered. They import immigrants, and now the immigrants get in leaderships of power. I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. No sense at all. But I guess it does if you want to keep Black folks in a perpetual state of stasis. But the first caller we got coming from the back to the front is Curtis. Curtis, let the people know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
What's going on? It's Curtis from Louisville, Kentucky. What's going on, Mike?
What's up? What's up? What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, it looks to me like what Kamala is doing is the same play that Obama was running. Like, hey, I'm Black, I got swag, I got these coon ass rappers behind me twerking and whatnot. It's the same play all over again from when Obama was running. It's nothing different. She's not saying anything about her politics and what she's going to do for this country because it's going to be the same thing that Joe Biden was doing. It's just a Joe Biden 2.0 at this point. It's going to run the same thing with immigration. She's not going to do any border controls. She's not going to change the economy. She's not going to lower inflation. It's going to be the same play. Maybe like she'll give a couple people student loan forgiveness, and that's it. Everybody's going to be even broker than they are right now. Like I said, I don't see anything changing. I haven't seen her say anything about policies and whatnot. So it's just the same old shuck and jive. Black people vote for me because I say I'm Black, even though I'm not really Black. It's like a white dude.
This is what it is. This is how they hijack our culture. It used to be a thing that we were oh so proud of, that we broke barriers and became the first Black this, the first Black that, the first Black surgeon, the first Black senator, the first Black sheriff, the first Black mayor. And that was some shit that we were proud of back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But it's a new day. It's a new time. We understand the symbology and the tokenism that comes along with that, but that's a play that they're running on, that old, oh, we're the first, we're the Black, right? So Obama comes in as the first Black president. Kamala gets vice president as the first Black vice president, not off their merits, not off their attributes, just because they claim a Black identity when it's convenient.
Right. And that's all she's been doing. Like, she hasn't been, they asked her back in the day what she could do for Black people. She's like, I'm not solely going to do anything for Black people. No. So why are you trying to run this campaign like you're your sister girl cooking collard greens and eating hot sauce and all this other bullshit? Like, you already said you're not doing anything for Black people. So what's the point in cosplaying for Black people? But a lot of people are stupid. Like, they like that shuck and jive, that big show, that entertainment aspect of the election. And I mean, the Republicans are doing it too. Donald Trump coming out with Hulk Hogan and fucking Amber Rose. It's all fucking dumb at this point. It's ridiculous.
Donald Trump with Amber Rose, Kamala Harris with Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, it's all theater. It's all politics.
Yeah, Playbo.
Yeah. It's all bullshit. Yeah. But hey, we gonna document the bullshit and we gonna talk about it and we gonna stand on lineage because we got a whole lot of foreigners, descendants of immigrants, cosplaying as Native Black Americans.
Right. It's all, I mean, that's been the play. Like, everybody wants to pretend to be Black, but nobody actually wants to be Black. So, and I think that's why delineating is so important. You know what I'm saying? Separating ourselves from these imposters and people that just want to cosplay as Black when it's convenient. Like what Kamala is doing and everybody else, but when it comes to actually helping Black people, like, you want to pretend to be Black so bad, but you don't want to help Black people at the same time. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you know what? We've got another live caller coming from the back to the front. Is Idris? Idris, where are you calling in from, and what's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm calling in from the UK. How are you guys today?
Doing well, thanks for asking. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm cool. So basically, I think there was a deception, right? Firstly, Kamala Harris told everybody, I'm Indian, so I'm the first Indian to become this, and I'm the first Indian to become that. But then what she did is a deception. She said, oh, my father's also Jamaican. But did you not say earlier on, or did anyone not realize that he wasn't a black Jamaican? He was an Indian Jamaican, wasn't he?
Yes, an Irish, Indian, Jamaican descendant of slave masters.
Right. So basically, so she just put forward that kind of a deception. So she never actually, she never is, she's not black, period. And, you know, her track record as prosecutor was a complete disaster. She actually charged 1,560 people with, locked them up for marijuana usage. And then she just laughs about how she has taken marijuana herself. And finally, she also said any kid that's out there truanting and that's not attending school, I'm going to put their parents in prison. So, you know, she was doing these things. And one person makes a comment, well, she's never sold out black people because she's not black in the first place.
Yeah, most people don't realize that a lot of these folks who try to cosplay us have a rich history of criminalizing and mass incarcerating us. You're right. San Francisco, she was in a position of leadership. She criminalized marijuana heavily. She criminalized school truancy. Oftentimes, these were parents who were documented dropping their kids off at school. But if the kid still leaves for whatever reason, wants to run off, well, now the parent's going to jail. And then what happens to that child? Is that child now in the foster care system while the parent's in jail? I mean, this is the kind of shit that Kamala was doing for decades, just like Biden. Biden had the 1990s crime bill and all that kind of shit. So, you know, in the early years, they showed the political establishment that they're good puppets by persecuting the blacks. And then if they want to run on a Democratic ticket in their old age, they just start pandering to the blacks. This is the remedy. This is the formula. First, they persecute the blacks, then they pander to the blacks. That's it.
Yeah. And the worst thing is, you know, like, I believe it was I think Biden was the one who co-signed the 1994 Clinton crime bill. And that really had devastating effects upon
that was the one that had the 3 strikes and you're in life, right? In prison for life, right?
And mandatory minimums as well. Yeah. So that was disastrous. And you know, like Kamala Harris, she failed to prosecute Steve Mnuchin, who was in her jurisdiction, and he was foreclosing. So he was carrying out a lot of criminal activity in regards to foreclosing on mortgages. So she should have prosecuted it, and she just refused to do it, which was, why on earth would you not prosecute a person like that? And then it go after like women and fathers and mothers in regards to truanting kids. That I thought was completely insane.
She's just a typical politician. She's just doing what she's told to do. She's not really making any.
Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday, campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungari's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what
I
I'm
will
saying.
tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss. Sincerely.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you,
now,
just a
which
number.
is-
Do you
but-
think it's
but-
1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that 85%
Well, no,
of
I'm not
apprehensions.
finished. I'm not finished. We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called
And-
the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to
may I
citizenship for
please
the...
finish,
Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding,
But
please?
here- but this-
you have to let me finish,
You had the
please.
White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and
in
they
the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people.
I offer personalized one-on-one genealogy consultations for $75, but understanding that times are tough, from hurricanes to rising prices, I wanted to find a way to help further. In honor of Indigenous Peoples Day, I'm offering a special opportunity this week, a group consultation for just $35 for those who may not be able to book a one-on-one consultation. You'll still receive the same valuable information as in a private meeting. The only difference is that you'll be learning and asking questions in a group setting with fellow participants on a virtual call. To schedule a $35 group consultation, please email mike@keymediapro.com and include group consultation in the subject line. Looking forward to connecting with you.
What is the lesson? What is this telling us?
Well, there are several things that are significant about it. Of course, one of them is a way that colonialism tries to develop all kinds of elaborate classification terms for different kinds of people. But that's another subject. The most significant thing here is to reveal the much greater amounts of Native American ancestry that are present within the African American population than most people realize, because they might have been misled by the use of terms like mulatto and also people of color. Colored people included Native Americans, for example, in the United States area.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British men. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.
All right. Hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the program. The Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. And let's get on with the content. Unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you probably know Kamala Harris recently got absolutely destroyed on Fox News. I mean, now I see why she doesn't do unscripted interviews. Now I see where whenever she gets interviewed, she has to get the questions in advance or read from a teleprompter. Now I see why, because she cannot stand on her square to save her life. Let's go ahead and take a look at the debacle.
Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system.
The point is, he just asked you a fucking question. How many millions of criminal migrants did you release from custody and unleash on American citizens? Was it 1 million? Was it 3 million? Was it 6 million? This bitch gonna say, well, let's get to the point. That's a deflection tactic. This is politics. This is technology.
And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a
which
number?
is-
Do you
but-
think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure.
Guys, this is called filibustering. It's called filibustering. Hey, why did you guys open up the border and let all these migrants come over here and rape little girls? Oh, well, you know what? Before I did this act, and before I did this act, and before I did this bill, and before I did that bill, and before I did that other bill, I introduced the bill to look at the migrants.
Before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, he's cooking her ass. That's why she's upset, because she's getting flame boiled right now, y'all. She's getting flame broiled. He said, oh, yeah, you introduced a bill. The bill actually made it legal for illegal immigrants to get a pathway to citizenship. Whoa. So the bill she's trying to talk about, the migrant crisis is an issue. I introduced a bill. Bitch, that bill was to help the migrants come over, not to stop it. And she cut him off because she knew he was about to start cooking.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish,
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they
in the
didn't bring
middle
up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and...
Hey, I'm just going to call a spade a spade. If you are really invested in this political theater, if you really do believe that presidents are elected and not selected, then goddamn, do you want a president who can't even get through a Fox News interview? How is she supposed to advocate on a global scale for our country? How is she supposed to go bang against Russia and North Korea and protect us from the terrorists, foreign and domestic, and blah, 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 blah? Come on. Come on. The military came out and said there's aliens. Is Kamala going to protect us from the aliens? I think Trump will.
He said something about a space force. Y'all know I'm joking. Y'all know I'm joking. I don't endorse either political candidate. I've said time and time again, I only vote in local politics. I don't vote on a national scale because I have personal beliefs about that system. But guys, if you're invested in it, who do you want? Someone like this who's so incompetent, she can't even get through a few kind of tough questions?
Or put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
Six Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election,
why does this bitch have to make everything about Donald Trump? I don't think this dude even said anything about Trump. Like, can she just advocate for her policies without bringing up Trump? I mean, is that possible? I'm sure Trump can do an interview without mentioning Kamala, but she just somehow has to tie this to the boogeyman because you know what she tried to do initially was vote for me. I say I'm black. When she found out that wasn't going to work because we pulled up her genealogy and we saw that she's a Hindu, Irish, Jamaican descendant of slave masters, then she said, you know what I'll do? You know what? Let's just say, hey, you have to vote for me because Trump's such a bad guy. Remember when Trump used to be president and like the world almost ended, right, guys? We went to DEFCON 5. You know, like nukes were flying in the air and it was like Red Dawn and, you know, Asians and Russians were parachuting from the sky because, you know, Trump was in office, right, guys? I mean, she talks like we didn't already have this motherfucker in office for a few years. It's not going to be the end of the world.
this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you.
but actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungari, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday, campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There is no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So,
guys, don't get it twisted. A lot of you may be new viewers. I don't pledge allegiance to either party. I think it's two wings of the same bird. These motherfuckers fake the funk on stage to control the masses behind closed doors. They're all members of the same Freemason lodges, secret societies, sororities, and sororities. So this is all for show. This is all for show. This is all for show. But with that said, certain things do change depending on which party has the presidency. So while on a global scale, no matter what, you know, the higher order of things is still going to be carried out regardless of who's the presidential puppet, certain things like border policy does change, albeit temporarily. And if we're just going to call a spade, these little girls would not have been raped and murdered if Trump was in office.
because if Trump was in office, the borders would not be wide the fuck open like this. Ugh.
Migrant encounters, they topped Bill 190,000
And there's
people
there's a
in
selfie
December.
on another selfie. You see the wall in the distance, right?
Yeah.
So at some point they came through, whether there was a hole there or a gap in the wall, who knows? But they'll be processed, and very soon you're going to see our drone cameras overhead showing you where.
Kamala Harris got niggas taking selfies, rocking Montclair jackets coming through the border. What? Huh? Y'all don't understand the damage that has been done with Biden and Kamala in office. I don't think you guys understand. I understand. And most of the reason I understand is because it's my job to. I present news to you guys. I let you know what's really what's actually going on nowadays. But guys, when it comes to the migrant crisis, when it comes to the issue with the migrants, y'all don't understand how having a wide open border has directly resulted in the deaths of dozens of young children.
The 22-year-old migrant from the Republic of Congo is facing sex abuse charges allegedly involving an employee of the agency providing services to migrants. The 22-year-old came to Cheektowaga on a bus from New York City. District Attorney John Flynn says Kindo Jancy is accused of committing an act of sexual misconduct against a female employee of that healthcare service provider hired to help the asylum seekers.
Tonight, a migrant has been charged with raping a 15-year-old disabled girl at a Rockland hotel. The case already sparking outcry from local leaders. WBZ's Brandon Truitt is live in Rockland with what was revealed in court today. Brandon?
Well, Chris, the state started booking out all of the rooms in this hotel last year as a part of its emergency assistance shelter program. And authorities have confirmed to us that both the victim and suspect in this case lived here.
I have a patron, I don't know if he's a manager or a National Guard, on the 911 line, 850 Hingham Street. It's going to be for the migrant section.
It was around 7 Wednesday night. Police records show a front desk worker called 911, reporting a 15-year-old disabled girl had been sexually assaulted.
Room 115. Meet the police. EMS response.
Police say they met the teenager in the lobby. Using multiple translators, she told authorities a man in the hotel brought her to his room to help her with an app on her tablet. Once there, he began having sex with her, the girl explained. According to the police report, the girl asked the man to leave her alone, but says that he wouldn't stop.
School bus driver in Rockville is arrested, accused of assaulting a 12-year-old special needs girl. Investigators say the incident happened a week ago, and the assault was recorded on the bus camera. The driver, Etienne Kabango, facing second-degree rape charges. He has worked at more than a dozen Montgomery County public schools. Police think there could be other victims. School officials say they have to follow protocol to fire him, but he was immediately put on leave and will not return as a driver.
That is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election. Because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they...
And you guys don't understand what's going on right now, or at least some of you may not. Biden and Harris had a program where if they caught criminals trying to sneak into the country, they had a catch and release program where they would release these criminals. They would say, hey, migrant, you just did this crime. We're not going to arrest you. We're just going to charge you. We're going to release you and sign this paper that says you're going to be on your best behavior. And some of these people got caught up on crimes. Biden and Harris program said, you know what, we're going to release you, even though you should be in jail. Just promise to be on your best behavior. And a couple months later, those same criminals rape and kill a 15-year-old girl and her dead body's found in the bushes. Molest a 16-year-old girl that's disabled in a shelter. Bus driver takes advantage. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And these are people who are known criminals, but they thought, hey, let's catch them and release them. They don't even give American citizens that fucking privilege. When's the last time they said to an American citizen, you know what? You did a crime. You should go to jail right now, but we're going to catch and release you. But the migrants get catch and release and thousands on debit cards and thousands on EBT and free hotel stay. And they raping the disabled girl in the next room. And they trying to rape the hotel worker who's working at the hotel they staying at for free. All right. But if we say close the border, if we say we call it ICE, we racist.
Were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's the early days. So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss.
And body language is key. She's shaking her head no because she's answering his question subconsciously. He said, will you give those families an apology? She's shaking her head no. But she's a politician. So even though her body is being truthful and saying, no, I'm not going to apologize to those families. No, I'm not gonna. She's a politician, so the lies come out of her mouth so freely. She shakes her head no as she says, it is an unfortunate situation, though. You know, look, she's looking off to the side. Will you apologize to those families? No. But I will say, though, that it is tragic. But no, I ain't gonna apologize for shit. No, I ain't gonna apologize for shit. But I'll say it's a little tragic.
So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening.
But when you say but, that negates everything you just previously said. Come on. If you say but, then you're basically taking away what you just verbalized. I mean, it don't make no damn sense. If I said, hey, Tech Phoenix, you beautiful, but okay. All right. If I said a new era, you cool, you my Niji, but well, goddamn it, but what? Why would she ever say but after saying that it's an unfortunate event that due to her policies, little girls were slain by criminal illegal migrants?
Happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all fairness, I told you I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are. that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that that's going to get fixed, Brett. Well, that's how this system works.
Guys, you don't understand. Although these elitists have 100-year plans and they all, inbred cousins working with each other behind the scenes, sometimes there's a wrench thrown in your plan. And what they didn't count on is Sleepy Joe getting oh so sleepy. So what happened was Joe Biden was supposed to run for a second term. By the time Joe Biden's done with the second term, they would have groomed another Democrat to be able to, battle it out for the presidency. But they're scrambling. The Democratic Party is scrambling like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. What do? Trump's about to run again. Biden, we can't run again. Biden, what are we going to do? Oh, let's throw Kamala in the mix. Do you know how much of an uphill fight it is convincing the American people to take a bitch who ain't done shit for us as vice president and now make her president? If she ain't do shit good for us while she was vice president, then why do we give her a promotion? Come on, if you own a business and you have an assistant manager that's shitty, then why are you going to give them a pay increase, a more prestigious title, and make them operations manager? It don't make no sense. But they had to, because they had no other political puppets groomed and ripened and ready. They didn't have their next Barry Obama yet.
That's the premise of this question. There were 90-plus executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
So decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
No, but let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel to the Guadalajara.
What does it have to do with you letting all these criminals come through unabated? I mean, what? Because when you were a San Francisco prosecutor, you prosecuted some gang members? What? Hey, she don't want to talk about them single black parents she prosecuted too, because their kids miss a few days of school.
Cartel to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Oh no! Oh no! They're cooking this bitch. Oh, they're cooking this bitch. I didn't even know about that one. I didn't know she's advocating for open borders and training operations for prisoners. Damn. Let's see how she's gonna respond. She's so mad right now. She is seething. She said, "Motherfucker, this isn't what I signed up for. You didn't tell me this was gonna be played." She is so mad. I'm ready for y'all. Are y'all ready?
Are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis.
So she deflected it to Trump. She played tennis, y'all. She just volleyed that right back to Trump. She said, let's talk about Trump. It was Trump's fault. Come on. And shout out to Aswad Kafele. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Very generous contribution. I appreciate the support. Thank you for sliding something in the brown paper bag. And goddamn it, with a name like that, I gotta assume that you're African. So shout out to those folks across the pond, if that is the case. I mean, I don't think Aswad Kafele. I mean, Kafele could be Moorish or something. He could be on his Hebrew Israelite tip. I don't know. If you're watching, leave a comment in the live chat. Let me know you're here. But either way, thank you for sliding something in the brown paper bag.
Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag.
To people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries
you know what, you got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in black and white.
Would you?
Yeah, like you have to take responsibility for the little girls that were raped and murdered by migrants that you did a catch and release program with. Yeah, it's so funny how she just said you have to take advantage for what happened during your administration. Oh, chicken head ass broad. Okay.
You know what? You got to take responsible for what happened in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in black.
I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year.
Wait, hold on. Pause the show. I'm so sorry to offend one of my most gracious donors. Shout out to Oswald. He is in the building. He says, no, I am not African, brother. Oswald means black and Kafele means worth dying for. It's a Muslim. Oh, okay. Hey, my second guess was Moorish. And Moorish, Muslim. I think the Moors might be Muslim. I don't know. I feel like I was a little close. And let me see if I can get this right. I think that this is within the Muslim faith. Assalamu alaikum. And then I believe in return you would say like alaikum salam, right? No? Yeah? Maybe?
I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub.
Collard greens in a bathtub, an image that's cheap and classless. You keep repeating the same old plantation bullshit, tired narrative we outgrew. Jokes on you. Collard greens in a bathtub, an image that's cheap and classless.
You support reparations for black people. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
Advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment
I will
surgeries.
follow the law, just as I think Donald Trump would say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think he spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear.
Hey guys, let's see how culturally fluent I am with the Muslims. Maybe this is the right culture. I'm going to be embarrassed if this isn't. Kamala Harris, when I hear her speak, it makes me say, Wallahi. Did I get that right? Maybe? No? Yeah? Let me know, chat.
The voters, because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas, at $20 million on that ad, on an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, is really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
On
it was
plans for
different,
the
but
American
we'll move
people,
on.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people
inflation
say,
and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Why do you think?
Hey, speaking of Muslims, it's fucked up that we have this interestingly orchestrated act of terror on 9/11, and because of that we like totally demonize and ostracize Muslims for decades afterwards. And if you really think about it, although there was all them jokes in the media and everybody's looking at a Muslim in a turban, crazy at the airport type shit, right? If you really think about it, by and large, Muslim immigrants ain't really done no damage to our country like that. I mean, depending on what neighborhood you grew up in, you may have positive or negative experience with Muslims. Being, raised in the suburbs, most of the Muslims I came in contact with stereotypically were, tobacco store owners, smoke shop owners, corner store owners, and it was always respectful. But when you compare these Venezuelan migrants and these African migrants and these Haitian migrants, this is a real criminal element. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys heard, but not only is they touching on the kids, but they taking the ducks, y'all. They taking the ducks and the geese. Nobody's safe. Hide your geese, hide your ducks. It's getting wild out here.
We cannot allow any significant non-citizen threat to the children of our community with this.
My orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers.
Clark County Communications.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers.
People say they trust him on the economy than they trust you.
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as President of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing.
How about closing the border?
Field, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Not fun. This is not cool, bro. They really out here decapitating animals.
Patients, they are taking ducks and cutting their heads off and taking them home to eat them.
I want out of this town. I am sorry. Please give me a reason to stay.
I knew the places they were talking about. I know the neighborhoods that they're talking about.
Know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation. Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British men. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them, and this shit get way deeper than your pigment. What?
You don't have to try to be something you're not.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? That's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world, to be allowed be.
It broke my heart when you changed your name. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all, who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, smash the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. Hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. You know they still got your boy demonetized and shadow banned, but still here we are. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me to cover this. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard that Janet Jackson low-key called out Kamala Harris's false flag and identity politics. You know, she was asked about Kamala Harris being the first Black president, and Janet just said straight up, hey, I heard her daddy was white.
I mean, I heard she was Indian. I don't know nothing about her being black. And you know what? A lot of people started running defense for Kamala. They started to publish a lot of misinformation, making the claim that Janet Jackson took back those statements and apologized. But that was not the case at all. Let's take a look.
In an interview with The Guardian, a reporter brought up the U.S. election, saying to Janet that Kamala Harris could be the first black female president of the United States, to which Ms. Jackson replied, "She's not black, that's what I heard, that she's Indian." Continuing, "Her father's white, that's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white."
And look, even she's saying, hey, I haven't really stayed on top of this. I haven't really watched the news, but this is what I heard. And you know what? Janet Jackson is wrong. Is she a legend? Is she an icon? Yes, but if she is wrong, she is wrong. And I'm going to call out Janet Jackson right now for being incorrect, because facts matter and the truth matters, goddammit. And Kamala Harris's father is not white. Kamala Harris's father is white and Hindu. Yeah. He got a little bit of melanin, guys. He's not full white. You know, he's half Irish, half Hindu, but guess what? That still means he's not a Black American, nor a foundational Black American, nor a native Black American. Let's get into it.
Father was white. She didn't let the reporter know where she heard this false information, but did say about the election, "Either way it goes, it's going to be mayhem." After that interview, a man named Mo El Masri issued an apology on her behalf.
Ooh, some Indian came out to defend his fellow Indian Kamala and put out a false statement on Janet's behalf in support of Kamala. Look how these Indians rocking for their own. Look at this. Jafar, sit down. Habibi, take a seat. Aladdin, relax. What?
Behalf, saying her comments on the vice president were based on misinformation. Janet's rep stepped in and told People Mag that El Masri is not Janet's manager, nor is he affiliated with her camp. The rep says Randy Jackson is Janet's manager. El Masri spoke to Variety saying, "I no longer work for her. I was fired by Janet and Randy after attempts to improve her image in front of public opinion and her fans."
No, you were fired for speaking out of turn and putting words at Janet Jackson's mouth in support of Kamala. You grimy bastard. You grimy bastard. And guys, you see the title, you see the thumbnail. This is not clickbait. Candace Owens has actually done a great job tracing Kamala Harris's genealogy, and she has proven Janet Jackson right. Candace Owens has proved Janet Jackson right when she has heard theories of Kamala not being black, because when we look into her genealogy, when we look into the paper trail as it relates to Kamala Harris's family tree, we don't see nothing that denotes Native Black American. Not at all.
Everything, because this is officially the only podcast.
Oh, and hold on, guys. You know, I got so much information I got to sift through on a daily for you all. I watch things on 2x speed. So let me put this in normal speed real quick.
You need to listen to today. Yesterday, I received an email from a woman all the way in New Zealand who decided to turn into Sherlock Holmes and fully dedicate herself to investigating Kamala Harris and all of these missing documents and all of these questions. And what she uncovered is potentially so shocking and so alarming that we can officially close the $1,000 bounty because she's earned it. I mean, she's going to receive the full 1K, because this is now getting dark and twisted. And my suspicions about Kamala Harris potentially pretending that the help was her family maybe have been confirmed. I'm going to let you guys judge. Don't want to get way ahead of myself, but do not go away, and welcome back to Candace.
And guys, I must say, I'm not one to champion or support or big up or dick ride Candace Owens, but if the information is right, the information is right, regardless of the source. And I know she did some egregious things, especially when it relates to the whole George Floyd situation. But hey, if she's done some paper trail genealogy on Kamala, Scamala, Obamala, then let's see what the findings reveal.
Don't even know where we begin here. I mean, I'm just shaken. So look, if you're just jumping into this, you got to stop and you got to go back 2 episodes and play catch up, episode 70 and episode 71, because we're not going to do too much recapping here because I want to jump right into this. Basically, someone came for Janet Jackson and I answered the door. It was a discrepancy that was in Kamala's book, a woman that she said was her grandmother named Beryl, a picture of her and her grandmother Beryl. Here it is.
And game recognized game. Ever since Candace got fired from the Daily Wire, she been trying to score points with the black folks. She said people was coming for Auntie Janet, and Candace answered the door and took off her earrings and said, I'm a scrap for Janet Jackson's honor. All right, Candace. All right, take a seat.
Is visiting my paternal grandmother Beryl in Jamaica. And then I did just a brief search online and found out that Beryl allegedly died 4 years before Kamala was born. So that's a major red flag. Then I had a little bit of a gut instinct. The photos that were being presented of Kamala and her grandparents. Great.
And guys, if that just went over your head, I don't blame you. Candace Owens' voice is a bit annoying if you ask me. But Kamala, her main claim to being black is this photo that Kamala shows. Kamala proudly shows this photo and says, hey, this is me and my grandma or my great-great-grandma or something. This is us, right? Well, when Candace's team did the genealogy, it turns out Kamala's grandmother died 4 years before she was born. So this woman that she's posing in a photo with, who doesn't look happy at all, who looks like, damn, I'm paid to be here right now. This is most likely the help. This is most likely a nanny. This is most likely a Jamaican house servant of sorts that posed for a photo op. I mean, how are you going to take a photo with this woman, claim it's your grandmother, when your grandmother died 4 years before you were born? Guys, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Feel that maybe this woman was the help. And I'm not saying that because she's black. I'm not racist against black people. I am black. I'm saying this because there's just a lack of emotion there. Like, I don't know if it's just my grandparents, but when they're with you, they're like super cuddly and cute. And this woman's just kind of very serious each time that she's being featured here. So anyways, what happened was we sourced Beryl's birth certificate. And then my instinct got a little bit stronger because her name was spelled differently in the birth certificate, right? So you see that it says Beryl spelled B-E-R-I-L, Magdalene. And we know for a fact, by the way, so people that are submitting other birth certificates, this is definitively the correct birth certificate because it says Iris Finnegan. And we know based on Kamala and Kamala's father, Donald J. Harris, that Iris Finnegan is the mother of Beryl. And then we see that her name changes, the spelling of her name changes rather by the time that we looked at her marriage certificate. Suddenly you can see that the marriage certificate has her name being spelled with a Y. Now that to me signaled that maybe she definitely is the help, and I'll tell you why. So my grandfather, before he passed away, maybe like 10 years before he passed away, I got kind of obsessed with trying to find all of these documents pertaining to his life, because I realized like that's my ancestry. And I was having a ton of trouble mining his grandmother's information because on each document, her name was spelled differently as well as other people in the family. And I was like, Granddad, why is everyone's name spelled differently depending on the document? Like, this is very confusing. Why is it sometimes spelled Liza versus Eliza versus like Lizbeth? That was his grandmother's name. And he explained to me that they didn't know how to read and write. So you forget this. You forget that you had a world, the majority of people couldn't read and write, especially if you were not considered like a high class person.
Know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
Wants to know, Mike is the real deal. His information is real. He's a humble brother, and he's all about the information. He's not about, personal gain or personal applause, personal credit. This is about our nation. It's not about one individual, but it's about us collectively as a people. And Mike is all about that, So we stand behind the brother 100%.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, like I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. Like you definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again, Mike.
Grandfather grew up on a sharecropping farm. And so what that meant was even if you had a name, if you couldn't read and write, you were going up to the register, whether it was for birth, whatever it was, and you were just telling somebody the name. You weren't saying like, hi, it's Candace, C-A-N-D-A-C-E. You're just saying Candace, and one person might spell it C-A-N-D-I-S. Somebody might spell it C-A-N-D-I-C-E. If you do not know how to read and write, you don't recognize these discrepancies. So that actually, I thought was a good thing in terms of like my idea that this woman could have potentially just been the help, maybe like on my scent. But I didn't want to be too convinced. Obviously, you know, I lean into the conspiracy mindset because we've been lied to so many times. But like I said, we did find that marriage certificate between Beryl and Lawford.
And shout out to Momo. Momo says, isn't Candace Owens also Jamaican? Yes, Candace Owens is not a native Black American. This is why heritage is important. This is why genealogy is so paramount. Ever since she got fired from the Daily Wire, she's trying to do a new grift where she's really trying to cosplay as a Black American and act like she's a part of our community. And look, she's defending Janet Jackson. Look, she's interviewing Kanye and going on Black podcasts. No. You're not like us. But if you got some valid info, we're going to take a look.
Newland, which was in July of 1944. And I want to be clear, guys, we know for a fact this is the correct Beryl. So we're not confused here and looking for more documentation when it comes to the birth or the marriage because the correct parents are listed. You can see Patrick Finnegan is listed. And so we know that Beryl's parents are Iris Finnegan and Patrick Finnegan. So that is the correct parent, the correct marriage certificate. But we had no idea who Lawford Newland was. We had no idea that Beryl had allegedly been married after she birthed Donald Harris. That would be Kamala Harris's father. Thought that was like quite strange. She would have been 6 years old in 1944. Donald Harris was born in 1938. So this means that she got married to this guy, Lawford Newland, and she had a 6-year-old. So I thought that was quite strange. I couldn't find anything on Lawford Newland, but somebody on the team was able to determine that he arrived on a ship to New Orleans. He arrived in New Orleans, from Jamaica in May of 1943. So we're showing you here the ship manifest, and Lawford Newland is on the ship, and he is listed as, he's listed as a Negro. He's Black. It says his marital status is
How to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub.
Collard greens in a bathtub, an image that's cheap and classless.
Yeah, y'all, this is wild. This is wild. And although I don't rock with Candace, I gotta admit, when I was watching this, I was geeking out a bit because this is the meticulous paper trail genealogy research that I do with dozens of Black Americans each and every week. We look through the census, birth certificates, death certificates, and when we do that, we typically find not ancestors coming from a slave boat from Africa, but we find ancestors that are affiliated with American Indian tribes.
To know, Mike is the real deal. His information is real. He's a humble brother, and he's all about the information. He's not about, personal gain or personal applause, personal credit. This is about our nation. It's not about one individual, but it's about us collectively as a people. And Mike is all about that, So we stand behind the brother 100%.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, like I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. Like you definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again, Mike.
Trip the year before he got married to Beryl. So quite strangely, he went to New Orleans, and then I guess he at some point had to have gone back just a year later to get married. We still have not been able to locate the relevant marriage certificate between Oscar Harris. Now that's, again, Kamala's dad. His father is Oscar Harris. We cannot find that marriage between Kamala's grandfather and Beryl. So that's like a huge question mark there, right? Like, where is...
And if any of you guys are getting lost in the technicalities of all this genealogy research, basically what Candace is saying is the math ain't mathin'. If you do somebody's genealogy, like how I meet with Black folks every week and help them trace their family tree, right? It shouldn't bring up that many questions, you know, like your grandparents are married. Here's their marriage document. This is your great-great-grandparent. Here's their census record. But when we go to look at Kamala Harris's ancestry, the math ain't math, and it's not making sense. You said that this is you in a photo with your grandma, but your grandma on record died 4 years before you were born. There's no record of your great-grandfather marrying your great-grandma. It's just not making no sense.
That marriage certificate? If you guys find it, we're checking our emails. And we're obviously aware that there are a lot of different Beryls that are being born in Jamaica at different times. Some people are like, this could be the case of two Beryls, and they're sending us different birth certificates. Like I said, we know we have the correct birth certificate. We know we have the correct marriage certificate. We know for a fact that this Beryl did get married, and that Donald should have been 6 years old when she got married. So it begs the question, was this her second marriage? Did she have a child out of wedlock with Oscar Harris? Did she have Donald? And then did she get married? Because it lists her on her marriage certificate as a spinster, which means that she's not married, obviously. And then she gets married to Lawford Newland. And then at some point they would have had to divorce if she remarried and got married to Oscar. So she would have had to have gotten with him, had a child with him, married somebody else, divorced that somebody else, and then gotten back together with Oscar and gotten married. That's like a lot of movements. Again, we don't have any documentation, so we're not going to speculate. But Beryl in general, I'm not describing her as the dog that's not barking, okay? So some people were saying, well, I've seen on different websites that there was also a Beryl Harris that died in 1995, and maybe this could potentially be her. We've done the math on that. No, that woman would have been born in 1914. Like I said, we know for a fact Beryl was born. The birth certificates are probably the most relevant source, because you obviously wouldn't have a birth certificate written years later after the fact that your child was born. It says that Beryl was born in 1917. But I started going back to that piece that Donald Harris wrote. Remember, the first time that we were kind of introduced to the fact that Kamala Harris was Black, it was because Donald Harris wrote this piece, which came right behind Kamala Harris's book, Reflections of a Jamaican Father. And I just would like to, by the way, really stress to you how Black he was trying to suddenly make them. Like, I'm just going to read you the first sentence of this.
And before we get into this, let's remember Jamaican does not mean Black. Jamaican is a nationality. That's not an ethnicity. There's Chinese Jamaicans, Irish Jamaicans, Asian Jamaicans, and everything in between. Just because you're Jamaican, just because you live in Jamaica, don't mean you're Black. Their whole motto was one nation out of many. So a lot of us had, the wool pulled over our eyes with the, Jamaican, because when we think about Jamaicans, we think about Black folks. Nah, go to Jamaica and it'll surprise you.
By Donald J. Harris, Kamala's father. As a child growing up in Jamaica, I often heard it said by my parents and family friends, "'Member where you come from." And then he goes on and he writes, my one big regret is that Kamala and her sister did not come to know very well the two most influential women in my life, Miss Chrissy and Miss Iris. Okay, so those are his grandparents, according to him. Those are both of his grandmothers, maternal and paternal. And then the whole piece is about his grandmother, his two grandmothers. And he wrote, both of my grandmothers had the strongest influence on my early upbringing. And then in parentheses, he writes, not to exclude, of course, the influence of my dear mother, Miss Beryl, and loving father, Mass Oscar. Like, I think it's supposed to be like Massa, like Mass Oscar. Very strange. Again, nobody that I know calls their mom Miss Beryl, calls their grandmother Miss Iris, and calls their other grandmother Miss Iris. There's something about that that doesn't strike me as familial. But again,
And the Massa makes sense because word on the street is her father descends from an Irish slaveholder in Jamaica, that there's supposed to be a town still named after the family in Jamaica present day. So when we see the Massa, yeah. Ooh, when Janet says, hey, I heard her daddy's white, yeah, he descends from Irish slave traders, plantation owners, mixed with some Hindu. But all of a sudden, just like tethers do, they start trying to cosplay as some black folks when it's convenient.
and that's speculation. Doesn't matter. Maybe there is this strange family where everyone, like, they address their mom as Miss, and they address their grandmother as Miss, and they address their other grandmother as Miss. Like that, it really isn't up to us to make any conclusions. But that's the first and last time that he mentions his mother, Miss Beryl. Okay, which signals to me that my theory about her having died young, you're saying you're raised by your grandparents, but your mother is around, but you don't talk about your mother or speak about your mother at all in this entire piece, signals to me that this is correct and your mother died early, okay? You're not mentioning her for a reason. So then this gets crazy. I get an email. Actually, I got 2 emails, but this one in particular made me sit up straight in bed. Like, I'm not kidding. I was like about to fall asleep, and I just decided to check the email box, and I sat up. I sat up just like this and started texting everyone. And I woke my husband up. I was like, you have to read this email. This is completely crazy. It came all the way from New Zealand. Shout out to New Zealand. I'll be on tour there soon, you guys. Get out there.
And we just had a Cash App come through from Cameron. Cameron, I appreciate the support. Thank you for supporting the show.
Buy some tickets because we're going to talk about this now. That's the only thing I'm going to speak about in New Zealand. But I'm going to just read this this email to you because it's just incredible. Kia ora from New Zealand, Candace. My name is blank. And after your first podcast about the family of Kamala Harris yesterday, I went down the rabbit hole all day looking for photos of Beryl Finnegan Harris's brothers and sisters, as you asked. I was so intrigued and I wanted to take up your challenge. I could not find those photos, but I did come across a record that you might be interested in. I noticed on Kamala's birth certificate, you showed that her father, Donald Harris, was 26 at her birth in 1964, giving him a presumable birth year of 1938. That is correct. He was born in 1938. I'm just saying that as an aside. I came across the attached record of a 1-year-old child who died in 1940 in St. Anne's Parish. This infant's name was Donald Harris. You will notice the baby's father's name that is given was Albert Harris, and there's no mother mentioned. However, you'll be interested to notice that a person listed as present at the death of the child was none other than Beryl Harris. She has also signed the death record. What are the chances that Beryl had her own baby named Donald in 1938 and then was also in attendance of the passing of a baby named Donald Harris in 1940? Weird, right? And just to be clear, that we're going to show you that certificate because it would mean that there were 2 Donald Harris babies born that Beryl was around. One was hers and one, I don't know, guys. It's getting weird. I'm going to finish this email, then we're going to talk about it. I have looked for the infant's father, Albert Harris, and cannot find a lot about him. Albert's father name was Abraham Harris. I believe it is possible he was married to a Violet Fearon on the 6th of March, 1935. No record of her passing, so why was she not at her child's death? But Beryl Harris was. Was this baby Beryl's or Violet's? If Donald Harris passed 1 year old, who is the man claiming to be Kamala's father? Oh my gosh, chill. She wrote, make it make sense. I'll keep digging.
Come on, y'all. The rabbit hole goes deep. If we got a person that's a baby that's dead, death record signed by your grandmother, and the same name of that baby that died is the name of your father, but your father also claims to have been born 2 years prior in 1938, it don't make no sense. It looks like, if we're just going to speak candidly, it looks like the person that she's claiming as her father, it looks like the one strand that she's claiming her black ancestry comes from it looks like that may not even be her father at all. We got a death record for the person that's supposed to be your father. Who's this dude? What's going on?
Chills. I was like, what are you talking about? I opened this email so fast. It was crazy. And let me just show you the attachment. Chills. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out all over again. It's hitting me. It's a second wave here of what? So yes, you will see that listed here. This is a death certificate that is on the 29th of November, 1940. Okay. In St. Anne Parish. That obviously is where her family is from. And yes, the child's name was Donald Harris. The child died before the child turned 2. So this would mean that it is plausible that this child was born in 1938, the exact same year that Donald J. Harris, Kamala's father, was born. Okay. Can you pull it back up? I'm not done reading through this. Okay. So you have also, it says the certified cause of death is fever and a cold. And it's letting you know, it says the duration of the illness, so that this baby was sick for 1 month, rest in peace. And it does mention that that baby is the son of Albert Harris. And just as this person speculates, it is signed by Beryl Harris. And it tells you, because you're supposed to include this, the signature of the person who was present at the death. And it says Beryl Harris, present at the death.
Guys, the rabbit hole runs deep. Guys, this makes absolutely no sense. This is who Kamala wants us to believe is her father, Donald J. Harris, born in 1938, the same year that we have another Donald Harris dying in 1938. And the reason why this is so profound, because on the surface level, you guys could say, well, Mike, it's just a coincidence. There was a baby named Donald Harris that died at the same year that a baby named Donald Harris was born. But here's the weird part. This Donald Harris's mother signed the death certificate for the other Donald Harris that died at the same year this Donald Harris was allegedly born. Come on, make it make sense. Again, you guys could say on surface level, hey, this is just a case of the same name. For example, my name is Michael Lane. That's a pretty common name. I'm sure, even though I'm born in 1994, I'm sure there was maybe another baby named Michael Lane that died in the same year I was born. But you know what would be freaking weird about that? If my mother signed the death certificate for that other baby named Michael Lane that died in the same year that I was born. Do you guys understand now? I hope I've made it clearer than Candace Owens was able to disseminate the information. But guys, this makes no sense. What is Kamala hiding? The truth is stranger than fiction, by far, by far.
And that is at Mount Moriah in St. Anne. Now, I want to be clear, there is no place to put the mother's name. So it's not like there's anything like strange here. I just think that if this is this Beryl's child and this Beryl Harris was married to this Albert Harris or together with this Albert Harris at some time, like that is the reason why it just says that present for the death. Like literally, who else would be present? If your child is dying less than 2 years old, okay, barely 2 years old, who would you allow to be there in your place? There's no mother on earth that wouldn't be next to their child. So it is very heavily suggested that Beryl Harris was there for the presence of her son, Donald Harris, dying. And that would put that approximate birth of that baby at 1938. Stop the press. Stop the press. Okay. So you can imagine me. Now you're me sitting up straight. Like, what is going on here? Like, actually, what do I know about Kamala's father? Like, this could be a coincidence. I'm sure. Yeah, I guess you could have like a lot of Beryls that are giving birth to Donalds in the year 1938 in St. Anne Parish. Of course, like you have to consider every possibility here, but also consider that this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Okay. So then I received a second email. Okay. Very interesting here. Very interesting here. And I'm just going to read the email. I'm just going to read the email and take you through this. What happens when I go through my info box? I tell you guys to message with deets. This email says, "Hi, Candace. See the death certificate below indicating that Beryl Christie was a domestic servant in 1936 when her infant daughter died." So there's another, and this person has written Beryl Christie, and
Fred said, who was Donald J. Harris's mother? Apparently it was Beryl Christie. And what we're learning here is that the man that they allege is her father really may not even be her father, really on some real CIA psyop type shit. But if that is her father, well, his father was a Irish slave master, and his mother was a servant or a Jamaican slave of sorts. So, you know, this gets weird when we find that this Beryl, who was a servant, died 4 years before Kamala was born, yet Kamala posts pictures of her with some woman she claims is her grandmother. Guys, the rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper.
and lost her daughter, and I'm going to pull it up here at the bottom of this email. She talks about like the birth dates. I'll get to that later. Let's put, do you guys have a close-up of this? Yeah. Okay. So you can see here, it is Beryl Christie. And this would mean not only did Beryl Christie lose a child in 1940, but prior to that, Beryl Christie lost a daughter in 1936. Okay. Again, all we have here is Beryl Christie. We know that this is potentially the right Beryl. Again, there could be another Beryl Christie going around. I don't want to completely close the door on that, but it is interesting. And I'll tell you why this struck me as incredibly interesting, because when we spoke about the death certificate yesterday, right? And we spoke about this young death of a woman. She's particularly died, Beryl Christie, of fibroids.
And yes, T, Kamala wrote that book. It was already being set up for her to become president. Yes, that book, that memoir that Kamala Harris published was in 2019. The only evidence that we have to support Kamala claiming she's black is her own book, where she has a picture with a black lady she claims is her grandma. But when we go through the paper trail genealogy, we find that woman who's a grandmother died 4 years before she was born. So the math ain't mathin'. We know presidents are selected and not elected. And if they know several years down the line, we need to do an Obama 2.0. We need to get an immigrant that looks like they could be a little black and get them to cosplay for the black vote. Well, hey, we're going to position Kamala.
Related to a hysterectomy. So if there is a Beryl Christie that had back-to-back, had lost children in some regard, you could imagine that she might have been injured internally. This is a long time ago. You would imagine that the procedures, obviously, you know, are not what they are today. And it is plausible that that woman died young of fibroids from a hysterectomy related to the fact that she had 2 troubling births, whatever it is, carrying children didn't work out for her. I just thought like, okay, but the big part about that second one is that we now know for a fact that there was a Beryl Christie that was, in fact, a domestic servant. Can you pull that back up again? Because I want to point that out so people can see this. The last one, the close up of it, if we can. You can see that she is listed as a domestic servant. That girl is listed as the daughter of Beryl Christie. You can see that in that where it says rank, profession, or occupation, daughter of Beryl Christie, domestic servant. I don't know, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to now, I'm putting in columns to sort through the various Beryl Christies that were born around this time. Like I said, you guys keep sending me stuff, but just to make sure you're filtering yourself, we know for a fact that Beryl Christie was born in 1917. We know for a fact that Beryl Christie got married in 1944. To Lawland Newford, or whatever his name is, Lawford Newland, pardon. And so we don't need a bunch of documents speculating that it could be a different birth, because her parents are listed, and Kamala and her father have confirmed that her parents are Iris and Patrick Finnegan. Okay. So we know those are the people that we are looking for.
Come on, guys. Now, do you understand the importance of paper trail genealogy research? Kamala Harris could have pulled a Obama and really passed for one of us. She talks like us, she acts like us when she needs to, but when we look through the paper trail genealogy, we find that truth is stranger than fiction. And when Black Americans do the same and finally map out their family tree, we learn that most of us don't descend from African slaves. About slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of